Hail and well met. Welcome to the very beginning of the Extra Life 24-hour marathon stream featuring the Dungeon Scrawlers and friends of the Dungeon Scrawlers. I am Eric Scott DeB, the DM of the Dungeon Scrawlers, and for some reason I volunteered to kick us off our midnight to 4 a.m. game. Yes. We have voice in the sky, Randy. I'm not sure if you can see Randy. You probably can't, but he's doing the tech for us. So Randy is only a 3rd level technomancer, whereas Yang Yang is like 19th. So if anything weird happens, let's just assume it's a late night game and not blame him. Okay. So yeah, we have a lot of giveaways and stuff. I'm going to talk about some of it. I'm inevitably going to miss some of it. And then Randy's going to tell us more of it. And then any of these other fine people that I'm going to introduce are going to tell us about whatever they want to tell us about, hopefully about things that they write, things that they're working on. These are guests and friends of the stream, and I'm so happy to have them. First, let me tell you a little bit about our main sponsor, which is Idle Champions. They've given us a code. You can get some kind of chest by typing that code in. You've watched the stream, you know the drill. Idle Champions is a fun adventure game that combines Forgotten Realms characters from multiple properties, from video games, from books, from I was going to say movies, but that hasn't happened yet. And from tabletop games into one epic adventure starring Farida and Havilar and a bunch of other amazing Realms characters that you probably know and love, including one who may or may not be on this very stream, but she's going to talk about herself in a second. Check out the code. You can click on it and get a cool, get a chest, which will give you hopefully cool stuff. If you get a cool thing, let us know. Like I said, I'm Eric Scott DeB. I run the stream. Well, I don't run the stream. Yang Yang runs the stream, but I run the game that the stream's about. And with that, we will go to our first guest player, and that's going to be Jennifer Kretchmer. Welcome, hello. Jennifer. Tell us about yourself.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and happy Extra Life, everybody. Please donate generously if you can, and if not, please spread the word so that other folks can help out kids who are needing some help right now with their medical care. It's a really important cause. My name is Jen Kretchmer. I am on Twitter as @DreamWisp. I am on Twitch streaming as DreamWispJen. I am one of the heroes of the Plains, where I play Alindra, who is one of the playable champions in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms.
Yay!
I'm one of the authors of Candlekeep Mysteries. I'm also the creator of the Accessibility in Gaming Resource Guide, which you can find in my pinned tweet, as well as the Disabled Pros in Tabletop directory. I do a bunch of weird stuff. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
Good to have you, Jen. Welcome. Allie.
Hi, some of you all might remember me. I'm Alexander Pitchford, and I am often seen here doing the recaps, so that's always fun. And you'll usually see me in the chat as a moderator. I am a writer, game designer, and lately more of a TTRPG streamer than I used to be. I play over on a couple games right now on a Weave the Tale, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Alicia, welcome.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. I am your resident Aussie invading for what's evening for me, whereas it's midnight for everyone else. So I'm still wide awake. I don't know how the rest of you are going.
Adventure, that's how we're going.
Yes. I don't have a Twitter, but any social media I'm on at Myrin. I'm very boring. Don't come and look for me. I am not nearly as interesting as everyone else. I am not working on streams or writing or anything like that, but I used to. Maybe I will again. And I'm just I'm just here to be really hyperactive and optimistic today, and we'll see how that goes for us.
Sweet. I'm going to hold up the citation needed mug regarding the you not being very interesting thing.
Yes.
Allie and Alicia are two of the original Westgate Irregulars who helped me put together the idea in the first place. And they are playing characters that they ran for that campaign. So I think that's extremely interesting. And that's part of why I'm so happy to have you back. And Jen is playing another character who has showed up a couple times in the campaign, although you haven't seen very much of her / them. They're mostly a mystery still. And we'll learn more about that as we go, I guess. Do we have any last business that we want to talk about? Voice in the Sky,
Do you
Randy?
want to talk about why we're here?
Oh,
What we're doing here?
yes. So, okay. So, Extra Life, is that what we mean? We want me to talk about? Okay, Extra Life is a fundraising event that happens every year. It's 24 hours of gaming, and during those 24 hours and leading up to the 24 hours, we are raising funds to help children in need in hospitals around the country. Everyone who participates in Extra Life picks a different organization to donate to. My donations go to Children's Hospital here in Seattle, which specializes in, well, children in medical need. They fly helicopters right over my house because Children's Hospital is literally like 500 feet that way. And if you were watching the stream last week, Erin talked a little bit about how much work they did for her son who has some medical needs of his own. And so it's pretty personal to everyone here on the team. And I'm really proud to announce that I have hit my personal goal of raising $1,000 for Extra Life. However, there are still incentives that can be bought, and there are still 45 flumps that can be bought. It is $5 flumps. So if you have a $5 that you were going to spend on a latte and instead want to spend on a flump to show up in the game, you should be able to find my own participant page through the doobly-doo somewhere down below us. Others on the stream also have Extra Lives. Jen, I know, has her own Extra Life page. And how's yours going, Jen?
Mine's going great. I'm very happy to have I think I am at now I'm on the spot and I don't know the exact number. But double checking that. But it's fantastic. I'm almost at $200, which is amazing.
Awesome.
But every penny helps here, and anytime people are helping out kids in need, I'm
absolutely,
and particularly in regard to medical stuff.
You are
awesome.
tied to the overall D&D team, right?
I'm on the D&D team. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yeah.
And you can find my link. I posted it on Twitter and Instagram and all of the places that you can find.
Excellent. Yeah. Every year the D&D team at WotC puts on an Extra Life of their own and recruits a lot of really talented, really awesome people from all around the community. And we totally snaked some of Jen's attention to be on our stream, which is a huge accomplishment. And I think we should all give ourselves a round of applause for it. Yes, it is all going to the same place, same good causes. Thank you so much for being here, Jen.
Oh,
Checks in the mail. Okay. So, oh my God, so many awesome giveaways. Take it away, Randy.
Apparently they can't hear you, Randy. Okay.
Oh, no.
If you give me 1 second, I can recap that. If you type exclamation point enter into chat, you will be entered to win one of many fantastic shiny prizes. I actually used to work in game shows, so this is something I should be able to do better than I am actually doing it right now. For example, Phoenix Dice has provided an incredible dice set and a dice set portfolio and 5 sets of your choice from Phoenix Dice's website. So you can enter that through the !enter, and the winner will be decided at the end of the entire marathon, at the end of the 6-hour Westgate Irregulars, Book 3, Chapter 12 episode. Everybody can also use the promo code Extra Life for 10% off your purchase otherwise for a week. And 20% of that purchase will be donated by Phoenix Dice to the Dungeon Scrawlers team at the end of the marathon. So that promo code will stack on top of the discounts they're already doing for the holidays. So there's a ton of goodies and freebies and things if you check out the Phoenix Dice website. Also, for Idle Champions, you will see the code coming up in chat that will get you a free gold chest for the in-game shop. The code will be active for a week, but it only comes through during this one shot. So come hang out, enjoy your gold chests, gear up your champions, and celebrate Extra Life.
Absolutely. Yeah, get in there early. Start getting those prizes before everyone else wakes up because they were foolish enough to try and get normal amounts of sleep.
Fools.
Yeah. All right. I want to give a brief rundown on the other games that we have coming up, and then we will get started. So first of all, we have this one shot called Cataclysm.
Not ominous at all.
I'm sure that's going to be great.
Not a bit.
Then we're going to have a game called Lurking Shadows, which starts at 4 a.m. Pacific time. So those of you in other countries, enjoy that game. And those of you who cannot sleep, also enjoy that game. We have Buppers in Bonnie Bottom. Oh my God. You named it that so that I'd say that on the stream, didn't you? I get it. And that involves killer bunnies having an adventure. It's like Watership Down meets D&D, and it's going to be equally horrific as the more horrific of those two, which is clearly Watership Down. Then we're going to have the Wizard Tower Bash, which is run by Steven Sturge Merlino. And that is a crunchy D&D dungeon crawler one-shot. He has been playtesting an adventure he's been writing with several of us players. I'm one of the players. Aaron, Yang Yang, and Cat Rambo are the other players. And we're going to be playing that starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Then there's Marriage, the Multiverse, and Everything, which is a Trevor Bettis run game that is a sequel to Tavern at the End of the Multiverse. Was that what it was called? Which I think was at Extra Life last year, right? Or was that another guest game he did? I don't know. It's going to be fun. And okay, Hotel at the End of the Multiverse, World. Yes.
Yeah, with our good friend Lauren Urban. Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is also in Idle Champions.
Woo.
As our Kira.
That's going to be wacky and crazy, and that starts at 2:30 p.m. Pacific. And then to top it all off, we have our extra long, giant size session of the Westgate Irregulars starting at 6 p.m. Pacific, and that is subtitled Tomb of Horrors. So for the children, keep that in mind. Okay.
Think of the children. Someone think of the children.
I feel like the best commentary about that came from Aaron saying, Cecilia would be like, Caliph, help us. We need to know what to do. And Emily saying, is that what you think I'm going to do? Help you? So it's going to be great. All right. So let's get going with our not at all ominously named Cataclysm. Okay. So, the city of Westgate is bereft of its heroes, and that definitely shows. Doom has fallen upon the city in many respects. It never quite recovered from the various cataclysms, some of which were inflicted by those heroes, even if that's not widely known. And without the heroes to defend the city from threats inside and outside, it is not going well. Those of stout heart and moral compass have been doing their best. Shay is exhausted. That's the first thing she thinks about when her trance ends. That's the last thing she thinks about before her trance starts. She is running around all the time, putting out fires, often literally. To this end, she has called on one of her friends, Holly Donsong, who has been making her way back to the city. Holly is a free spirit, a wanderer, rover, vagabond, if you will. Generally a pretty good-hearted and very optimistic person. And when there's a need, Holly is there to help. Those who would see the city stay standing and stay operating have to hire outside assistance, mercenaries, sell swords, warriors of coin to do the deeds that these heroes would have done for free. Capitalism is unfortunately failing Westgate, as it does all cities eventually in the end. That's the social commentary part of the campaign. And to that end, a certain astral pirate has been doing some jobs in the city as well. And what we're going to do is we're going to start on that certain astral pirate having been summoned to do a job by Lady Illyrin, no less than the Fox at Twilight, merchant queen in the city and struggling to keep things going. So, Lady Blackblade, or Vayne to those who know her well, not Fane, different character. You receive an invitation for a job to the Purple Lady Fest Hall. Fest Hall is a tavern of less than stellar repute. It's kind of like saying brothel, but you can't say brothel in a PG-13 book, so they came up with Fest Hall. Okay. The Purple Lady is more upscale than most brothels you have been to in the past. Replete with dancing and bards and purple silk tapestries that hang down from the ceiling. They're constantly moving, giving an impression of flames or dancing forms. You suspect that in its heyday, the Purple Lady would be a fantastic spot to spend the night in drink and conversation and fine company. However, with the city's current woes, there are only so many customers here, mostly just a few sad regulars drinking at the bar. One straw-haired noble heiress dancing kind of shakily on the dance floor as though she's been dancing there for possibly days. It's hard to say. But generally, the whole place feels a bit sad and worn down. Something has to give.
Maybe they too have seen the end of time.
More right than you might know. Anyway, when you arrive in the Purple Lady, you expect someone to be there to greet you. Instead, you see a rather striking but somewhat harried looking elf woman. She has dark hair that is so dark blue it seems black. She has pale skin, she's a moon elf, and golden eyes, and she's wearing all black. And she comes up to you and she says, "Ah, you must be Lady Blackblade. Myrin has told me a great deal about you. Or at least, well, she mentioned you and your proclivities for adventure. I am Illyrin."
Lovely to meet you.
Indeed. Please. She gestures you toward a private meeting room in the back of the Purple Lady. You follow her?
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. She takes
Hands
you back
resting
there.
on my swords, just comfortably, not
So
not
why
ready
don't
to
you
draw.
why don't you
more so than normal.
why don't you describe Vayne Blackblade to us, please?
Yeah. Vayne has a pale, slightly gray cast skin and long, dark hair. She's covered with tattoos and lots and lots of piercings, all up her ear, in her nose, on her brows, on her lips, everywhere. They have two swords at their belt, the hilts of which are visible. And let's see, what else do I have down? Those are the main things. She's pretty, her not heavily armored, but certainly an eclectic array of clothing. It looks to be from different places, maybe even different times. Some looks a bit ragged, but you can't quite tell if that's a fashionable choice or an actual wear and tear. But her stance is sturdy, and she has well-worn boots, well-worn-in boots, which may or may not have a dagger tucked into them.
Excellent. Okay. So yes, Ilora leads you into this back room. She looks pretty well put together, but as I said, the impression of her being harried and tired from too much activity does show. Her hair is not perfectly pressed. Her clothes appear maybe a little bit not entirely fresh, as though she has been wearing the same thing for some time. And you are also an elf, although an elf of a very different sort. But you do recognize what it looks like when an elf is weary, particularly these mortal elves who don't come from a land entirely about weariness and tiredness. And this elf is very tired. You suspect that if you saw her in her prime, she would be, well, just extremely beautiful and charming and irresistible. But as it is now, she seems very down to earth and vulnerable. Anyway, she says to you, yes, please. And she gestures to a table set with several bottles, some of them half full, some of them down to about a third of various liquors, and a few scattered biscuits and other pastries. And she says, I apologize that the spread could not be quite as much as I would prefer for a guest, but these are difficult times in the city, as I'm sure you noticed.
It would seem.
So, shall we do business then?
You brought me here.
True enough. She pours herself a glass of wine and then offers one to you as well.
I'll take it.
I wish to employ your services to find someone very dear to me. My wife, Myrin Darkdance, has gone missing after after researching and investigating a certain conspiracy that she thought she had come across. And though I have done all in my power to find her, she is generally the one who is better at finding people. And she reaches up and kind of touches at this blue sapphire amulet that she's wearing. And she says, normally I am the one who is difficult to find, but right now, well, my normal hunter, I'm not certain that she will be available to help me in this. So you come recommended.
By whom?
Myrin herself, actually. She tends to have a She said that you had met on a couple of occasions and that you had helped her with some business. She was vague about that, but she tends to be a very sharp judge of character, and I trust her judgment.
Oh, I'll take the compliment.
You definitely seem to carry yourself as though you know how to use those swords quite well.
Best if I don't have to draw them.
That's a good philosophy. Clearly, you are an experienced mercenary then.
So,
And, yeah.
so I come highly recommended. I know little of your reputation. However, I'm always up for a challenge. So tell me more. Where was your wife last seen?
She told me that she was following up a lead at the ruin of Castle Cormeril up on the coast, just west of the city. No one lives in that castle anymore, not since the fire that consumed the Merchant Council some 10 days ago. By all accounts, the castle is a burned out husk and completely impossible to dwell within. But she said that her sources had been pointing her in that direction. And I suspect that that might be a good place to start. She might have left some kind of trail. I myself am not much of a arcane user, but your skills in that regard should be useful. My magic is quite limited. She produces a shadow illusion over her hand, which looks like Myrin, who you have met before. Myrin is, well, she's adorable, right? She's this, she has dark skin and very, very blue, bright blue hair. And her skin is also covered with tattoos, blue and black arcane sigils all over her skin. And she wears blue robes, and she always has this cheery expression, and she seems to think the best of people, which matches your own impression of her when you met her. So Illyra basically conjures this little illusion just to show you and remind you what she's like. She says,
"Oh, her."
Yes. Exactly. I suppose I should have started with the illusion just to remind you. Not everyone understands our relationship at first glance. Anyway.
Your business is your own.
Indeed.
So, she was at the castle. You said she was investigating a conspiracy?
Well, a number of cataclysmic events have happened recently to shake and shatter the realms. With the disappearance of the heroes of Westgate, that seems to have coincided with the start of these cataclysms. And Myrin suspected that they were being caused by some powerful magic user who might have taken refuge in this burned out castle. She came across several cultists, in fact, practitioners and adherents to some unusual faith or philosophy. Such matters are not particularly clear to me. I have never had a great experience with religion.
Do I notice any... I've now been told that she has no experience with the arcane, or little experience with the arcane, no experience with religion.
Would you like to make an insight check?
I would indeed.
Okay, go ahead.
Hmm. 23.
Oh, that's pretty good. All right. Well, you pick up on that maybe she might be understating these things a bit. you get the sense that she's not a wizard. She doesn't have those kind of abilities. You would imagine that she's actually a rogue of some kind if it came to figuring out a class for her. But when she talked about having a poor experience with religion, you think that she meant to imply that she didn't know very much about religion, but actually you think that maybe she just has had bad experiences with religious figures.
Okay.
Anyway, in fact, if you want to make a history check, you might know something about her based on what you've heard in the city. Because you've been in Westgate for
Not
a while.
a clue.
All right.
I mean, it could be, but I also could be getting the reality wrong.
Yeah. So you've heard like various rumors about her, that she is some kind of well, first of all, some rumors suggest that she is in alliance with the Night Masks, which are the thieves guild that operates from below the streets of Westgate. Some rumors suggest that she's basically a kingpin of crime in the city. There are also suggestions that she is a former assassin who was in service to the Shades of Netheril, which it seems very far-fetched to you, at least until you met her, because she seems pretty competent and maybe a little bit cold and ruthless if at need. You got that high insight check after all. And if that particular rumor is true, it was tied to another rumor that her skin burns living things at a touch, and that was her chief way of executing her targets as an assassin, was kissing them, which would cause their flesh to unravel as though by dark magic.
I don't believe it to be true, but oh, do I want it to be true.
So she's looking at you and she says, I see that you are trying to determine something in your mind. You get the sense that she's pretty insightful too.
As I said, my business is my own and yours is your own.
Of course. Of course. So, speaking of business, what sort of reward would be appropriate for a task such as I have laid out?
What sort of offer are you making? Another glass, perhaps. And I put out my hand.
Gladly. You just put out your empty hand, or you put out the
No,
glass?
the glass.
Okay. Yes, she fills it again. And she says,
As
well,
she pours, I go, what was that? And I accidentally brush up against her.
okay. Well, let's see. Would she try and avoid...
Why not rule that
touch?
out now?
Would she try and avoid your touch? Probably not. Okay. All right. So just brushing her skin with your hand, you take 7 necrotic damage.
Oh.
Although, since you have resistance to necrotic damage as a Shatter Kai, I think it's somewhat reduced. Yeah. So yeah, it hurts. Like, you touch her and it feels like you touched a hot oven, basically. But the pain isn't just heat. It's like your flesh starting to unravel and part just at the merest touch of her hand. And she pulls her hand back, drops the glass,
As
shatters on the floor.
My face is turned away, and just a smile, just like a big ear-to-ear grin, like crosses it, and then I turn back and ow! What?
I am so sorry. Did I cut
My lady,
you?
what? Yes, it's not like any cut I've had before. And you see, and I hold up my arm, and there are scars all over my.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere from past.
Okay,
combats.
I have to ask: would Shay be anywhere in earshot of breaking glass at this point?
Oh yeah, she's gonna show up. It's gonna happen.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Illyra is standing very close to Vayne, and she says, "Oh, how clumsy of me. You do
It
not seem
was.
upset."
Do I not?
No.
Should I be?
S- I don't think so.
I reach out my hand and I brush her cheek,
Uh-huh.
and I just
Yep.
don't even flinch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it starts, your fingers start burning, blackening.
Now that's a gift.
It's more of a curse, I have found. But
Some would
certain
say.
folk, she kind of shudders a little bit. And then the doors open up and Shay Darksong appears, along with Holly Dawnsong, standing next to her. And you were involved in a conversation, the two of you, until you heard breaking glass. And then you hurried
Yeah.
in and you see Illyra and Vayne standing there having an intimate moment.
Like Shay will straight up. She'll bust through the door and just be like, "Light, are you?" Oh,
Okay, so then we're going to cut to about 10 days earlier. Shay comes back from an adventure with the Irregulars, during which a certain revelation came to her, and her dark, shadowy self manifested as this terrible monster that almost consumed them. And she was forced to help them defeat it and watched it melt away into black goo that soaked into the ground and left a permanent stain. And it was then that she learned a certain thing about her mistress, and it has been troubling her this whole way back. And now you are back. You've sent the Irregulars back on their way, and you are back to see Illyra. This city is in much better repair. Cataclysms haven't started yet, although the city is still rebuilding from the earthquakes. And you come upon Illyra, and she is in her study, reading. She's all very well put together, not at all tired. And she says, "Ah, you've returned."
I have.
She holds out her hand like this, like kind of casually, without much thought, just like you're going to come hold her hand.
Oh, and I mean, Shay will reach out and she'll take it.
Okay.
But
So her
Oh, go
touch
ahead.
kind of crackles, but doesn't actually harm you because of, well, the magical connection that you have.
she'll come around and I have to ask you something.
Illyra is still writing something in her book. She says, "Of course, love, of course."
Who is the Night King?
And her pen just kind of like on the page. And then she puts it down and she says, "Why are you asking me that?"
She kind of the wheels are turning. She's clearly trying to find words. I know that there's a connection between the two of you. The Irregulars found it out and they informed me, but
And what did they say exactly? She kind of looks at you out of the corner of her eye, and her eyes are very cold.
and this would likely be the first time that she would notice that Shays are now gold.
What has happened to you?
We encountered something that caused every dark impulse that I've ever had to just burst out and try to eat all of us. So that was fantastic. We killed it. I killed it.
I see.
That's... Look. They encountered some information that the Night King is some kind of former lover of yours, and I don't care. I don't, but I saw what happened to you back at that night at Myrin's tower. How seeing him affected you, and if I'm going to be able to help you, I need to know these things.
She picks up the pen again and she says, "There is nothing to tell." She starts writing again.
Absolutely nothing?
Nothing you should concern yourself with.
Goddess below, I swear. Why do you hide things from me? Why won't you let me in?
I have a lot of work to do, Shay. I'm sorry about this terrible monster that emerged from you and that you had to fight, and I'm sure that was... She looks over at you. She says, I'm sure that was difficult for you, and I recognize that. But I need you to understand that there are certain things that I just do not wish to speak about. Please go.
She'll just kind of blink a bit at that, and she'll let go of her hand. Almost like she was burned, but not like not, obviously it didn't hurt her, but...
We'll talk later. I need to consider.
Underfoot, her shadow seems agitated. Mm-hmm. It's moving of its own accord.
Mm-hmm.
But she puts on her best, neutral face.
Yeah, Illira's expression seems very placid, but her shadow is also writhing and like very angry. Ah, the way shadow dancers communicate with each other. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, and then you're back in this moment. You walk in and Illira's having this intimate moment with this other woman that you've never... Well, you have seen her before, because you do watch the Irregulars and you know that they encountered a woman who looked like this, and you thought she was very striking, very memorable. I mean, she is. You didn't necessarily expect to see her again under these circumstances.
No.
Holly, you have no idea what's going on. Like, Shay is here. She sees Illira. When last you checked, Shay and Illira were, pretty good, right?
I mean, I last checked 2 minutes ago, so
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if Shay would have been able to fill you in on the whole drama, but like now you see it. And Vayne, you see these people, and they just burst in, and there's this moment of kind of like pause, and then Illira says, Shay and Holly, wonderful, perfect timing.
What exactly? What's happening here?
She pours more goblets of wine.
Oh, it's that kind of day.
I was not certain you would return. But now that you have returned at a perfect moment. I was hiring Lady Blackblade here for a task. She holds out 2 goblets of wine for you.
Well, Shay will take one. She still looks very confused.
Allie will take one.
It would have been funny if Shay took both of them and then was like,
God.
one for Holly too. Anyway.
One. For those who don't know, Shay is kind of a lithe
Yes, this is
elven woman.
a good time. Mhm.
Yeah, lithe elven woman. Her skin is kind of the color of ash, kind of like this. It's not quite white, but it's like this kind of dusky, very pale gray color. Very stark white hair, and her eyes are a kind of burnished gold, which are the exact same color as Illyra's. She's dressed completely in like black leather armor, with a rapier at one hip, and I think her most noteworthy piece of gear would be a black choker around her neck, from which hangs a broken shard of sapphire.
Those present can tell that, particularly Vayne, since you saw Illyra's necklace, that little shard of sapphire glinting at Shay's throat resembles one of the arms of the star that sapphire is carved into.
Oh, so it's like that.
Although the amulet itself is not missing any arms.
So it's not like that.
Anyway, which seems a little odd to you. Anyway, Illyra says, but yes, now that you have returned, I need your help.
Of course, I'm sorry I haven't been here. There's been so much going on, and
Think nothing of it. I know, I understand. Myrin has gone missing.
What?
again,
but this time she
You
hasn't.
didn't mention that this was a regular occurrence.
Yes, but usually she sends word or returns shortly thereafter. This time she has gone missing, and it has been several days.
well, the last time she went missing, you went missing shortly thereafter.
Yes, looking for her, and I did find her. But sadly, now I do not have that option. If I leave the city, a number of things will collapse, and it will be far worse.
Oh, that's okay. We'll help. What do you need us to do?
Well, I need you to find her. And it is glorious providence that you are here, Holly Donsung, for your tracking skills combined with Lady Blackblade's understanding of the arcane arts and Shay's ability to find almost anyone that she looks for will be perfect for this task. So I want the three of you to work together.
I mean, I think we can. Of course, Myrin. Of course.
Assuming, of course, Lady Blackblade accepts this task. We were just discussing a matter of payment.
Indeed.
As I was saying, my resources are not insubstantial. I have a certain amount of coin and jewels and magical trinkets that I would be happy to part with in exchange for the safe return of my wayward wife.
Oh, that would seem to be certainly an option.
An option? What would you ask of me?
And I sort of brush her hand again.
Oh, still
I'm
feels...
sure we could think of something.
Shay will visibly flinch because she knows what happens when people touch her.
You notice that Blackblade kind of doesn't react. Like there's just not even a, and then after, almost as an afterthought, it's, oh, that hurt.
Like there's a little bit of steam that like rises from her fingers, and they're clearly a little bit blistered, but she does not seem to react to that touch at all, like you would expect a normal person to. And Ilra says, I see.
Wait a minute. What?
Rewards are excellent. Treasure, trinkets.
Of course.
Whatever you deem to be. Suitable.
Ilra hesitates for a second. Yes, of course. And then she cites a certain amount of coin that you might consider a decent reward for a job like this. And like we can gloss over the exact details here, but like she has resources that she's happy to offer, and she does not.
I'll negotiate up a little bit if I can, because that's what you should do in any situation like that.
Of course.
Why
don't you make me a
whatever her offer is,
check.
I will be respectful of that.
Yep.
Persuasion.
Yeah, persuasion check. Let's just see how it goes.
Oh, not so well.
Yeah, all right. So Ilra is a pretty
coin
shrewd...
is certainly what I would like if I could have my choice of rewards from you.
Ilra says, oh, is that all? Very well. She's a pretty shrewd negotiator. You come to a pretty fair price. Maybe a little lower than you would have liked.
Then it's agreed.
I'm guessing with my high passive insight, I can pick up on the freaking subtext.
Oh, yeah.
Subtext? What?
This was subtext?
I thought it was
all that
just
was happening
text.
was text.
I mean,
thought it was
Holly is
superscript.
picking up on this.
Anyway, yeah. And Holly is not good at subtext.
No.
No.
She's not.
Holly's flirtation is often like, I am going to flirt with you now, by the way.
Yeah.
Here we go. Boom.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yes. Okay. It's a little bit charged. There's obvious tension and chemistry. And then Ilra, gives you a certain amount of reward to start with, maybe like 25% up front in the form of gems, probably, because they're easier to transport.
Easy to carry. Mm-hmm.
And then says, I shall certainly have more reward for you when you return.
Appreciate it.
Um,
Is there anything else you can tell us that might aid in the return?
I would advise you to be wary. Anything or anyone that could overcome Myrin would be powerful or treacherous. Myrin, bless her, Myrin is a bit naive sometimes and can be easily taken in by a cool operator. She says that entirely without irony, as though that doesn't explain her entire relationship with Myrin. So, yeah, and she says, so the castle was formerly owned by the family Cormerol. They were a lesser merchant house. They did not actually sit on the merchant council, but they had close alliances with members of the merchant council. And the merchant council traditionally met at their castle. outside the city, far away from any potential murderers who might be waiting for them. Because politics in Westgate follows two things, coin and blood. So you could always trust the Cormerals until that night when you really couldn't. Yeah, but like she said, it is a blasted, smoking old ruin now that, chat reminded me about a little bit more about the context. The Cormerals and the Bless are both originally from Cormyr. They are exiled families who turned against the Oberskiers on the throne and attempted to usurp the crown. Their coup was defeated and they were exiled from the nation. They settled in Westgate, where they fomented their revenge, basically, for a couple of centuries at this point. Eventually, their priorities shifted to gaining power in Westgate rather than gathering allies to go back to their kingdom. Westgate and Cormyr are typically seen as enemies. If you're in Westgate, most people consider Cormyr a evil imperial power that is trying to annex the Dragon Coast, which is a free series of city-states. Of course, if you're in Cormyr, most people see the Dragon Coast as a series of oppressed city-states ruled over by greedy merchant kings. Both of them are somewhat correct. The Cormyrians are probably more correct.
And if you're in the Far Realms, everyone is subjugated by who knows what.
Fair enough. Have you some experience in the Far Realm? Illyra asks.
Which time?
I see. Very well-traveled adventurer then.
Far realm? Which far realm are we talking about?
And Myrin was telling me
further
about
than
it
you might
once.
be able to imagine, friend.
I can imagine a
Oh,
lot.
we can imagine. Yeah.
Well,
If you can imagine this, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
as the Far Realm is a place beyond where simple imagination is lethal. So Illyra is looking around and she says, I'm sure you will do wonderfully. If there are any other questions, otherwise I should get back to putting out fires in the city. With Myrin gone, there's no one to run the rune rests or her other interests in the city, and I have to redouble my efforts to protect all of her investments as well. I am a busy, busy elf. She downs her goblet of wine. Okay,
No,
so
you don't have to take all of that on alone. I've told you that.
find Myrin, Shay. That would be the most helpful to me right now. Please.
We'll find her, my lady.
Of course.
I'm sure you will. Now, the only way your group could be more suited for tracking down Myrin would be with... Who's that loud, horned friend of yours?
Oh, Summer! Yeah! I haven't seen her for ages. How is she?
Probably drunk somewhere.
Asleep under a table. You didn't
Well-
see her out in the Purple Lady common room, did you?
No, last time I saw her, she was at the arena, but that was a year ago, so.
Yeah, she usually doesn't have enough coin for the cover charge to get into the Purple Lady. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you happen to encounter her along the way, maybe see if she wants to punch me again. Anyway, good luck. Thank you. And she bids you farewell. Okay, so you have directions to get out to the castle, and you can take a carriage. Ilra has a carriage that is attached to the Purple Lady, so you can just take that carriage if you want, or you can find.
Why take a
means.
carriage when there's a much better way to travel? Do you all have transport? Would you like transport?
It depends on what you have in mind. I can get where I need to go, but it might be easier to travel together.
I mean, I was just going to walk, but you've probably got something faster.
Walking involves staying on the ground.
Yes, generally it does.
So
there's no need in this case.
While we're deciding this, Alicia, why don't you tell us what Holly is like, since we got a description of the other two?
Yes. Holly is a half elf. She's got brownish colored skin, very pale ash blonde hair. Looks like the elf side of her heritage is most likely wood elf, and very green eyes. She's dressed fairly simply, brown leathers, green linen, carrying a dagger and an empty quiver, but doesn't appear to have any other weapons than that. Standing out against her skin is just the hint of silver scales coming up above her collar. She looks like she's in her early 20s. Now, normally that wouldn't mean anything for a half elf, but you get the impression that she actually is as young as she looks, and seems to be far more energetic than you would expect from people dealing with what's going on in the city right now. Also far too cheerful for dealing with what's going on in the city right now.
Okay. All right. So, Vayne, you were going to suggest a method of travel?
A more direct method of travel, yes. Where is it docked?
Well, if you are referring to the Chromia,
I am indeed.
let me ask you this question. Would it make more sense for you to leave it in a port on the Astral Sea before you went to the prime material plane, or would it make more sense for you to have taken it to the plane directly? Because if you took it directly, it's probably docked at the docks pretending to be a normal ship.
A ship, yeah. Sure, we can go with that. Let's go with that.
Okay. So Vayne leads you in the opposite direction from the west side of the city, instead up toward the docks, and points you toward a ship, which looks, I mean, it is a ship, but the styling of the ship makes it resemble a kind of silver metallic, maybe not silver. When you look at it initially, it looks silver, but the more you look at it, you realize it's like a darker gray color, and it looks a bit like a dragon's wings are sweeping along the side of the ship, and the figurehead is of a dragon, but its skull bone structure is much more flattened and geometrical, if that makes sense. Like, it looks pixelated almost, is how we would look at it today. It doesn't look quite like a dragon that you've ever seen before.
I look at the two of them to gauge their reactions.
I mean, Shay is definitely curious. Like, we're going.
Oh, in the West, this is the fashion. This is what they're doing for all the ships now.
Can we get there by boat? I don't.
I didn't think
Slow
the manor was
smile.
on the coast.
Does Vayne just march onto the ship?
Yep.
Okay.
Well,
Yep. Vayne marches onto the
follow
across
along.
the platform onto the ship.
I guess we're going on the boat.
It also doesn't seem like there's any crew. It's just Vayne.
I'm good at my job.
Oh,
There are
don't tell me this
places-
is like the tower.
There are places
Oh
that
God, no, not the
ships.
tower.
This is going to be like the tower.
The tower.
Flying tower. It's a long story.
Please tell us that you are less distractible than Nia.
I honestly couldn't
Please.
say.
We were in a flying tower, and the individual piloting it got incredibly distracted and crashed it into Gloomrot. So,
That was fun.
Vayne is
Well, you
been to
know what they say
Glimrod.
about flying. You've either crashed or you're headed toward a crash. Sounds like this Nia got it out of the way.
She got a lot out of the way.
Oh boy. All right.
this is why we don't work with Fane anymore.
I'm
Well, it's
sorry?
one of many reasons.
Oh, no. Fane.
I don't know.
We worked with Fane last year. It was fine.
Maybe for you it was fine.
She let me hug her. It was great.
You know I can't stand her.
You just need to get to know her a bit more.
Oh, I know her plenty.
So I'm assuming Lady Blackblade is making preparations to take off.
Indeed.
Okay. Yep. You cut the rope rather than untie it because you're never coming
Need
back to this
ropes.
port. Who cares? and like the ship kind of rocks, which is the two of you who are from this plane of existence didn't expect this. Like there's no current in the port. It's very, very still. And the ship just kind of like bobs, like it's moving up and down, which is disconcerting. Vayne goes around, checks a couple of kind of unexpected things, like she touches a jewel up toward the bow, and it starts glowing faintly, and then she touches one on the opposite side, and that starts glowing too. And then she climbs up to where there's a wheel. There is a wheel, and as she steps close to it, a circle of energy starts glowing under her, reacting to her presence.
Oh God, it is like the tower.
And
Well, Fane's not here.
and the ship lifts out of the water.
This is going to be fun. This is going to be so much fun.
Okay.
He goes over to the side to look over the side.
Oh, please don't fall over the edge.
No, I just want to see.
All right.
All
I've only been in a
limbs
flying tower
on
before,
board,
not a flying boat.
kindly.
Okay. Name's on board.
Yeah, you see the
Limbs on board. It's generally a good rule of thumb when flying or traveling on any sort of vehicle. You're liable to have them chopped off otherwise.
You see the dark waters of the bay of Westgate, increasingly far below you. You see fires burning in the city. On the horizon, where the sun set some time ago, you see a sickly green glow, which is very unusual. Usually, red, purple, orange, those kind of colors.
Ordinary
Green?
sunrise
strange.
colors for you?
Yeah. Vayne's like, oh, sure, whatever. No? Okay.
No? Yes? No? All right. And I continue doing what I'm doing.
All right.
Question: How much active crewing do I need to do on this? Because I do have something I'd like to go do if I can step away for a little bit, but if not, I won't. Obviously.
You can set the ship on a direction, and if you step away from the wheel, it will keep going in that direction, although it will gradually lose altitude.
Okay.
Unless you're there to maintain it.
I need time to cast a ritual to make
Okay.
this happen.
How much time to cast that ritual?
So it's 10 minutes and an action.
Yeah, you think you can do that.
Okay. I would like to use divination.
Okay.
So I will go take some incense. I'll go to my quarters. I will take out some incense and lay out. I have an altar in there, a small altar, and reach out and touch the weave and pull on a number of threads of the weave, and pray to Mistra. And I would like to ask, what is a signifier of the greatest danger we face on this quest, on this task?
Okay. And this is...
I'll put the
Okay.
spell in chat.
All right. I want to make sure I match the mechanics of this. So as she's casting this spell, do you other ladies do something in particular? So the ship is flying toward... it's basically flying over the city and over the farmland, which has gone, like, the harvest is not proving very lucrative this year. Like, many crops are rotting on the ground, and it's like there's some kind of foulness that's spreading into the world. And you're headed toward the mountains by the coast. It's just a little ways away from the city. You think you'll probably get there in about 10 minutes or half an hour at this rate. All right. Do you two do anything while this is happening, or are you just standing there brooding?
Well, Shay will probably find some place that is moderately secluded, that she can kind of, sit and gather her thoughts, maybe spend the time probably praying to illustrate, making sure all her spells and stuff are in order, but they are. But for the most part, she's just going to try to center herself. I mean, jumping into danger while emotional has never worked well for her in the past. So she's trying to calm her nerves.
Okay.
Which leaves Holly with absolutely no one to talk to, so she's just going to explore as much of the deck of the ship as she can, and when she runs out of things to look at, and she's absolutely not touching, she knows enough not to mess with people's magical objects, and this is very clearly magical.
Okay.
Once she runs out of places
Make an investigation check, just to see if you find out things about the ship.
Because I'm so good at that.
Right. Yep, that seems about right.
There we are.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, this is definitely a flying ship, and it is propelled by magic, which is linked to some kind of piloting magic that is linked to Vayne specifically. You have heard stories of flying ships that go between worlds. They are called spelljammers. Not that you really understood why anybody called them that. For you, jam is a is a spongy fruit substance that you put in pots. But you know, it must make sense somewhere. You think there are weapons mounted on the ship that are mostly hidden behind scales of the dragon that serves as its design motif. You also suspect, well, as you're going along, certain things about the ship moving and how it's flying remind you of an actual dragon in actual flight, and you're not entirely sure how the ship came to be. All right, that's what the 17 got you. Okay.
Yeah, so she just sort of like scratch her own scales while she's examining the scales, and once she's got nothing else to do, she'll just sit down and rest, because it's been a tiring trip getting to Westgate.
Okay.
One thing that did come to mind, I think I'll spend 10 of those minutes imbuing my shadow with life.
Okay. Yep. All right. So, your shadow detaches from you, Shay.
Mm-hmm.
The shadow is newly restored after that was a couple of 10 days ago, when you had the incident with the creature that came out of you. But this is still a relatively fresh shadow. You would have had to restore your shadow after that incident.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this question. Where did you get this shadow? What creature did it come from?
Oh, is that how we're doing it?
You could have possibly produced it yourself, but you could have also taken it from an actual creature. You're pretty sure that Illyra has produced shadows from actual creatures before. But this is still kind of a new power to you, so
yeah. I think it's hers. It's her own.
So it is a fragment of the creature that you fought.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yep.
Fought, subdued.
All right. So you have imbued it with power, and you can communicate with your shadow?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes, it follows my orders and whatnot.
Yep. All right. Yeah, the shadow immediately regards you warily.
We've been over this, you know.
Kind of flicks to a different side of the ship, still regarding you warily.
Yeah, you and everybody else.
You get the sense of not adoration exactly, but more like submission, that the shadow recognizes you as its master. But it's still a little bit hesitant.
It's all right. All that's over now. We've got a lot of work ahead of us.
Shadow seems to agree.
Well, at least I'm familiar with those that aren't exactly forthcoming.
Okay. Jen,
Yes.
the divination finishes up, and this is the message you receive. Doom and salvation shall come on golden wings. Fear the face of a stranger and friend. I'll put it in the chat. Bit cryptic.
The gods often are.
Mhm. Okay.
I say another prayer of thanks as I knit the weave back to its normal state. and
Right.
put out the incense. And I return back to the control room.
Okay. Yeah, you see that the chromium has drifted very, very low toward the ground.
And I'll steer us back up unless this is where we need to land.
Yeah, your passengers might have become a little bit concerned, but it's just a thing. Like you trample a
Adrenaline makes the
couple.
journey so much more fun.
You trample a couple of trees in your path, but it's fine. It happens. And
Could be worse.
You find a rocky ridge that is it's a little too narrow to fit the ship into. So, but based on the description that Illyra gave you of how to get here, you think this is where you're supposed to get. So this would be a good place to land and then proceed on foot.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. All right. You Final Fantasy land outside the dungeon site. And then you come to
Prepare yourselves should you need to do so.
Right. You find a sort of narrow path along a ridge off the sea. So far below you on your right, we can pull up Roll20 at this point, and it would make sense. Far below you to your right is the inner sea, the waves crashing against the rocks and sending spray upward. You think that drop is about 300 feet or so? It's pretty far. On your left, there is an equal drop to rocks and inlet of water below, and this path kind of hugs a ridge between you and the surf. At the end of this path, you see a burned out skeleton of a castle on a slightly raised platform of rock. So it looks like there's this natural moat that surrounds it, with this narrow path kind of wending its way through the rocks. It has begun to rain quite heavily. The rain is basically creating waterfalls down the ridge on all sides of you, also making the path potentially somewhat slippery. These rocks that you can see on the map, if Roll20 is up and we can see it. Yeah, we can. Okay, these rocks that you can see are like pillars of stone that are rising up to about your level.
I take out my, you can see I have a rope looped at my belt, and I unhook my rope and I say, go forward, you know what to do. And the rope will start creating a handhold for us as we traverse the area so that we don't fall. And it slowly sort of inches ahead of us as we continue down the pathway.
Okay. Does it say how long your rope is?
It's a 60-foot length of rope. It can move 10 feet when I first command it and 10 feet on each of my turns.
Great.
Up to its maximum length or until I tell it to stop. And if I need it to tie itself to things or knot or unknot itself and so forth. So when it's knotted, it'll shorten to 50 feet.
Okay, so it starts off getting up to
60,
this rock.
and then there's now knots at every 1 foot interval.
Mm-hmm. I think that's enough rope to get all the way to this rock too. It just kind of loops itself around it a little bit. Yeah, so that makes it pretty easy going if you just want to climb along the rope. The path does seem as though it was once wide enough for carriages to go through, but it cracks and little rocks skitter out from underfoot, and the edge crumbles when you get too close to it. So it is good that you have this rope that is kind of supporting you. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
Sweet.
Okay. Shay
And
will
I will,
follow close behind.
I'm not going to hold on to the rope unless I'm starting to trip.
Okay.
Because why? Why, when there's a narrow pathway to be walked, would I ever use an assist? It's here for them.
All right. I'll have you make a acrobatics check, please, just to keep your
Alright.
balance.
Acrobatics or athletics? Acrobatics.
Acrobatics. Okay. Yeah, that's sufficient for you to get along to that first rock. So I'll
Okay.
just go ahead and move you there. Okay. Now that you're up against this first rock, and Shay is coming after you. Shay, would you like to make an acrobatics check, please?
Why, yes.
Perfect.
I'll do okay.
Geez. Okay.
Because there's a rope there, isn't it?
Shay balances on the rope. Do, 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 do.
Because I'm extra. Kind of my thing.
Yeah, the knots actually make it harder to tightrope the rope. And Holly, are you also going to do that? Maybe you're not going to tightrope the rope.
Yeah, well, you maybe not, but
Okay.
I
Holly,
use the rope.
Yeah, Holly uses the rope.
Please use the rope.
I mean, it would be rude not to use the rope after Vayne went to all this trouble of setting it up for us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. The DC to make it without the rope is 12. The DC to make it with the rope is 9. So Holly makes it with the aid of the rope. Okay. Now that you're up to this first rock, Vayne, you have kind of, you're getting a little bit of a sense of their capabilities here. Now that you're up to this first rock, you see a blue glowing orb of light. I don't know. I'm set to black pings. I should probably change that to a color that's more easy to see. A blue glowing orb of light here, not too far away from the edge, actually. It looks like a little blue lantern size light, just kind of hanging there in the rain. Steam is rising from it.
Well, that's a bit strange.
Just a bit.
And the blue light casts these strange shadows off the rock walls that are near you on the right side. The rock is not it's not reliable, and it's not always there. So you can't necessarily feel your way along it so much as sometimes a rock will come up and it's part of what's holding the path in place. You get the sense that the earthquake that hit Westgate not too long ago might have caused significant damage to this area, and it's somewhat unstable. Okay.
Well, we can make this much faster, but I want to make sure that they have the help they need should they get into trouble.
Okay, well, everybody is up to the first rock. You want to move your rope?
Yes, I would like to move my rope. Also, I just want to confirm that I have set my magical weapons for the day. I've inscribed my 2 blades as my.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I think that'll about do it.
Can anyone tell anything about that light there?
I could.
I'm not from here, so is that something we should be concerned about?
Is there anything I could tell just looking at it?
Make a wisdom check. It could be perception if you are trained in perception.
I'm not sure if we've
I
seen
am.
something like this before.
I am too. Do you want me to give it a
Yeah.
shot and see if I've seen it throughout the multiverse, or is it? I
Sure.
did ask the question.
I mean, I'm quite
Yeah.
welcome, happy to try and see what I can see, which is probably going to be.
Okay,
It's there.
yeah.
It's hovering.
You do see that it's there. Shay,
smoke.
as you're watching it, you look very closely, and you think you see like faint shadows playing along the inside of the light. And for a second, it looks like a face, like an agonized face that just passes over the light for just a second. And then you
You
realize,
look concerned.
and then you realize that the light is pulsing a little more vibrantly.
I saw something in the flames. A face. It looked like it was in agony.
Well, that's always promising.
That's generally
Is
not
it-
a good sign.
Is it pulsing?
And
I
it
think
is at this point that it sends out a it seems it starts floating toward you.
Why could nothing ever be normal?
And I'm going to need everyone to roll initiative.
I say to it, are you sure you would like to do this? Would you like me to draw my blades? Because I will.
Remember to click on your token before you roll, or I'll just go ahead and add it since I see Holly's right there. It's pretty easy.
And mine is 18.
Oh geez. Okay. So this thing did not surprise you exactly. It got a 14.
I think you've given me its initiative.
I did.
Yeah.
I updated that, and then Vayne 18. Okay. Come on, roll 20. Here we go.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Shay, you can go first, if you will.
All right.
So the thing is pulsing angrily.
Oh, angrily now, is it?
Angrily.
All right. Well, I guess that's how we're doing this then. Okay. I don't like how it's pulsing at me. So
I feel very judged.
right? Like it's a very judgmental pulse.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Wow.
Sure, I'm gonna go ahead.
Sorry,
and
I'm just
use...
using roll 20 for all it's worth.
I will cast since it's not quite because it's kind of out there in the middle of space right now.
Right.
So like her sword's already in her hand. She's got her rapier out. Silver fire is kind of flickering on the blade. But what she'll do is she'll cast a spell at it, which I think she's going to cast. Yeah, she's going to cast Sacred Flame.
Okay.
Which is, let's see here. So it needs to make a Dex saving throw, and then I'll roll the damage here. Just a second.
Okay. It got a 15.
Okay. And it failed because that's a 6. It needs a 16. Ooh.
Okay.
So it takes the 3d8 damage as silver fire kind of just descends from the sky and strikes it.
Okay.
For 11 radiant damage.
Cool. Just gonna check. Do. Okay. Yep. It seems to take all that damage. Okay. Anything else?
I will stay where I'm at right now. So yeah, that's it for now.
Okay. Holly's turn.
About how far away from us is it?
That is
10 feet.
10 feet from you.
10 feet. Oh, that's not far at all. I'm just trying to think. Is that too close to use a bow? I can't remember.
No, you can use a bow.
Okay, I will get one of my bows out. Probably the short bow, and well,
I like how you're like, I will get out one of my bows.
Yes.
Out of nowhere, mind you.
No, out of her quiver. That's what the quiver is for.
Yeah, it just comes out of her quiver.
Yeah. Apparently we are attacking it. I was going to wait to see what it's going to do. I'm going to hold and see what it's going to do. I expect that since Shay's attacked it, it's going to attack us, but I'll give it a chance first. So I'll just hold until I see what's happening.
Okay. Vayne's turn.
All right, I would. Vayne is going to. She whispers something in a language that sounds it's just different than. It's basically her attempt at one of the languages she's heard abroad, but it works enough that I cast Blur on myself.
Okay.
So any creature will have disadvantage on attack rolls against me unless it does not rely on sight or can see through illusions. And then as my bonus action, I will activate my blade song. I take out my +2 sword because I'm going to use one at a time because I'm a duelist. And I will begin the whirl of the blade through the air hits this harmonic tone as you just hear it whipping through, and all of a sudden everything sort of hums for a moment. And I now have a +4 to my AC. My walking speed increases. I have advantage in acrobatics checks, and I have a bonus to Constitution saving throws.
Right.
That gets Shay's attention.
Blade singing starts happening. Okay. Anything else?
So that's my action, my bonus action. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move to here. Now I'm good.
Okay. Yeah, you just moved a very short distance, so I'm not going to call for another check or anything. Okay. The creature. The creature is going to fly right at Shay. I know, it's really small, so it doesn't look like it's adjacent to... you're right, it's a tiny creature. It's going to fly right at Shay.
Ah.
And then it is going to attack her. Like, it sends out another pulse of light, crackling like lightning.
It doesn't move through my threat range, does it?
No. Oh, but it did not hit. In fact, it rolled a natural 1. Its little pulse of light didn't actually produce any electric shock. Like, it seems like it was going to, and then it kind of sputtered and didn't produce anything. Maybe it went into Shay's shadow and was subsumed for a moment, and it was not expecting that. Okay. And at that point, it sinks down into the ground beneath Shay's feet. So it kind of like goes toward Shay, as though it's going to go into Shay, and instead it goes into Shay's shadow. Like it got confused when it got right up to you. It's like, and then it veers down into your shadow and just sinks into the ground and disappears. You're standing there warily. Okay, Shay, your turn.
I feel like that wasn't supposed to happen. All right. And we can no longer see it. It's just...
You can no longer see it.
All right. Not sure. Like, Shay will look around warily, and especially looking down at her shadow, very concerned. But I think what she'll do is very carefully. Why? No. What are you doing? The map's being weird to me. I don't know why.
Oh.
There we go. Okay. I was trying to move my icon, and instead it was moving the entire map, and my icon was stationary. It was very strange.
That is weird.
She will move, and she'll move a little further down the path.
You know, a fun, cool thing that I realized about Roll20 is that if you select a token and use the arrow keys, it will just move you one space each time you hit an arrow key in that direction.
Oh my god.
Isn't that neat?
That's so cool.
Doesn't say that on the tin. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I'll move, and there's nothing else going on. I'll use my action. I'll use my action though to detach my shadow.
Mm-hmm.
And so both of you will actually see her shadow kind of like slither out away from her and detach from her completely.
Well, that's new.
It's
Does she normally do that?
I've been away for a year. She wasn't doing it a year ago. But apparently she is now.
It's complicated, all right?
We are definitely having drinks when we get back, and you can tell me all about it.
All right, let me find a suitable token to be the
Yeah.
shadow.
It does say it gets its own initiative, but do we want to complicate it that much?
We can just assume that it acts on your initiative for the moment.
All right, sure. And she'll kind of look at Vayne and go like, "You're a blade singer."
And?
I didn't know that, all right? Just it surprised me, that's all.
Because you know so much about me.
Well, no, I don't know anything about you, frankly.
Well, you know I'm a blade singer, apparently.
Now.
Well observed. We do have other things to discuss. Also, your shadow detaches, so good on you.
Really cool.
There's something to discuss for another time.
Yes, another time.
Where did that creature go? Apparently it's that time.
Into
Apparently
my
it's that time.
Into my shadow, apparently. And she'll look at the shadows like, "Are you okay?"
You get a sense of wariness from the shadow, but you're kind of getting the sense that that's a regular reaction.
Helpful.
Does it talk?
I'm just going to take a moment. I have this excellent bottle of 2-bar bourbon whiskey, distilled right here in Seattle, Washington, down in the industrial district of Seattle known as Sodo. If you're ever in the city, 2-bar has a tasting room, and it is remarkable. All right.
It doesn't talk, but I can feel what it's feeling.
It's feeling okay?
It's wary, which is to be expected, but it's also kind of always wary, so No change.
All right, Holly, it is your turn. Shadow is actually, it should be adjacent to you. It's right next to you. The shadow does look a lot like Shay. It is Shay's shadow.
If Shay says it's okay, I presume it's okay since I have absolutely no frame of reference for what sentient detachable shadows look like or feel like or are supposed to be. This is an entirely new experience.
It's a featureless, three-dimensional, slightly wispy shape, much like Shay's shape. It's utterly silent.
Hi. I see, I see what you mean.
If you tilt your head, it tilts its head the same way, like it's shadowing you.
That was bad.
Okay.
Bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Do you, what do you want to do on your turn? I'm still in initiative order, so.
Does anyone
see anything
have a way to figure out if there is still a lantern creature amongst us?
Well,
you did say it was manipulating the shadows, did you not, Shay?
I saw shadows of something.
Your shadow absorbing it would not be the, I mean, it's possible I don't know your shadow and what it does, but it would seem to me that that might be a dangerous home for it.
I mean, there's certain types of creatures that I could sense if they're in the general area, but I've got absolutely no idea if that's one of those creature types.
Do you want to try that?
I will try that. I will try that. That is Primeval Awareness.
Okay. Does that take an action to do, or does it take a...
It takes an action.
Okay, it's just an action to do. All right, and put that in the chat so I can see. Okay. I mean, I think I know what it does, but I just want to remind myself. And what spell slot are you expending to use it?
Well, ranger spells aren't prepared, so I'll just use a first level ranger slot.
Yep. Okay. All right, so then it lasts for 1 minute. During that minute, you can sense the following types of creatures that are present within 1 mile of you, or within 6 miles. Sorry, or within 6 miles if you're in your favored terrain. What is Holly's favorite terrain?
No, I'm not in it. It's forest and underdark.
Okay, yeah, you're not in either of those. All right, aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. So basically, any really unnatural creature you can sense within 1 mile of you. You can sense that there are undead and an aberration, multiple aberrations perhaps, within 1 mile of you. The presence of undead is okay. So the feature doesn't reveal the creature's location or number, but I'm going to say it gives you a sense of kind of like a general sense of how many of the thing there might be. The undead feel like a lot, but weak, like spread out. Like the way sand might spread out if you dropped it on the ground. The aberrations feel few and localized, but very big, like a rock dropped onto the ground amongst all that sand. I put it in terms that it might make sense for a ranger to think of it. Okay. So, undead
Well.
aberrations.
Well, it could be an aberration because there's aberrations all over the place and undead all over the place. So that's going to be fun.
Well, good aberration.
As in multiples of both.
Okay.
The undead don't feel that strong, but the aberrations feel stronger, more solid.
All right.
They usually are.
When she mentions that, I will say that it prompts you all to make a knowledge religion check. If you would like.
Me too, or
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah, Shay gets everything.
Well, Shay is a cleric,
I am.
partially. Oh, and Vayne knows a lot about religion as well. Vayne is well
at least
traveled.
undead, or at least aberrations.
Yeah. Okay. So, with that clue from Holly and the behavior of the creature, you think that that thing that just appeared to you was a Willow Wisp, which is an undead creature, like a floating lantern, essentially, and it can become incorporeal, and it can brighten, or it can wink out. And what you know about those, well, Shay, you know all about those, actually, since you rolled a natural 20. And on natural 20s, okay, so skill checks, not a natural 20 is not an automatic success, but if a 20 doesn't succeed on a skill check, why did you have them roll the skill check in the first place? But my ruling on a natural 20 on a skill check is that you learn some other pertinent fact in addition to whatever the check would have taught you otherwise. And in this case, you can tell that that creature is a Will-O-Wisp. Will-O-Wisps, usually they exist to lead unwitting travelers to dangerous places where they might perish and then be haunted by these creatures. They're often found in bogs, bone-strewn battlefields, where the oppressive weight of sorrow stoops even heavier than the low-hanging mist and fog. Man, whoever wrote the Monster Manual did okay at certain passages, I'm just going to say. Vayne, you...
Some argue that they are the heartbroken souls
That's right.
of those with lost lovers being
Vayne,
dragged into the forest for their torture.
Vayne, you are from the Shadowfell, and in fact spent a lot of time in Gloomrot and the nearby environs. So you are actually very familiar with these creatures, although you didn't immediately recognize them because these look a little different from the ones that you might see in the Shadowfell. And part of that is color, but remember that you don't see color because you're Shadow Kai. So the Will-O-Wisps that you see, they hum in the Shadowfell, and it produces like this sorrowful effect. So, I mean, just being in the Shadowfell raises one's despair and sadness, but the proximity of a Will-O-Wisp will also just increase that, like redouble it. And it's like seeing light. You know how certain neurodivergent people might hear a hum in a
Synesthesia.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. These that you're encountering on the material plane don't have that effect. So that's why you didn't recognize them immediately. But once it's pointed out to you that they might be undead, then you make the connection.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Huh.
And you, since you and Shay are up toward the front, you see there are others. There's one up here. There's one up here. They're floating all along the path. In fact.
Well, undead are one of my favorite enemies, so this is convenient.
Well, that's quite useful then.
There is no moon, or, well, it's covered over by the rainy cloud cover. So the Willow Wisps are really the only light source. Some of you have dark vision. I think all of you have dark vision, in fact.
I have a lot of dark vision.
Yeah.
I have dark vision, yep.
Okay, good. So you don't really need the Willow Wisps to light the path, but at the same time, they're lighting all the path, and dark vision tends to be limited in terms of range. So, how do you want to proceed?
Let's see here.
Well, so if they are, they do seem to be. They are a bit different here. Not nearly as powerful as they were when we encountered swarms of them as we were fighting off a number of different enemies. Just do what we did there. Ignore them. Don't follow them. Disregard them. Stick to the path. Use the rope. And proceed ahead.
Yeah, that's fair.
Seems reasonable.
I'll pause a moment. What's the range on everyone's dark vision?
60 feet.
Also 60.
I'll go ahead and, if you're willing, I'd like to do something just to help with the darkness. And she'll chant a little bit. I'm going to use Eyes of the Night, which will extend everyone's dark vision out to 300 feet for the next hour.
Okay.
Beautiful. Oh, that's.
I mean,
that's much clearer there.
I could
That's
just
your
make us a
channel.
light.
That's your channel divinity, right?
It's just a thing I can do. I don't
That's just a
think it's
thing you can do?
It's a Twilight Domain cleric thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
I can do it once per long rest, but yeah.
All right, so
or I could make a light. I do have the light cantrip.
This should help. This is fine.
Well, she said she was doing the dark vision thing, so we'll just say that she did that. You can always do light later, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so with your dark vision expanded, you can really get a glimpse of the massive burned out castle ahead of you at the end of this path. Sure enough, it rises 50, 80 feet into the rainy air. Pieces of stone are rising up like spikes into the air. The towers have all collapsed. You think that there were multiple stories, but now it's basically reduced down to the one story. You do see a staircase that rises, but just goes nowhere. It just kind of ends in rubble somewhere in the middle of the castle. The doors, the great double doors would have admitted something 20 feet wide, but one of them is still hanging shut and the other is off its hinges lying on the ground. And on that note, I think we will take our 10-minute break since we're about halfway through. Everybody's still with me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for the chat, still with me. Queue us up for 10 minutes. Oh, great big brother in the sky. And we'll be right back. Don't go away and don't fall asleep. There's a lot more gaming to come. Thanks, everybody. And we're back. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us, even though it's really late, or it might not be really late, depending on where you are in the world. We have an international
It's really
audience.
early.
Yeah, we're extremely happy to have an international audience from all different time zones, and we're also happy to have people who are dedicated staying up this late / early. We are doing this for Extra Life, 24 hours of gaming, starting at midnight 2 hours ago and ending at midnight 22 hours from now. Wow. The Dungeon Scrawlers as a group have currently raised $2,828, which is a lot, but it's Not quite our goal. Our goal is $5,000. So if we can get to $5,000 in the next 22 hours, that would be amazing. I wanted to throw that little plug out there for all the flumps that you can still purchase on my page, because there will be a rain of flumps in a subsequent adventure. There might be some flumps that show up in this one. I got my pack in Roll20 of the aberration creatures, and there are 4 different kinds of flumps, and I'm looking forward to it. So don't disappoint me.
That's forward spelled with a PH.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go buy your 5 PHIVE dollar flumps on my page. The kids will appreciate it. I will appreciate it. The players may appreciate it. And on that, and we also have great giveaways. They're listed down in the doobly-doo. We're giving away a set of dice, which look amazing. Make sure you put in bang enter, and it should put you in that rally for getting those dice, or some of our other amazing prizes, which honestly, there are way too many for me to list because it will take up the rest of the time we have for gaming, and we are gaming. So I am going to ask this question of the party. Would you like to engage with the Willow Wisps, or would you like to try and get by without spending too much time fighting them?
I think trying to get by without spending too much time fighting them would probably be best.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Yeah, they don't seem overly
They
hostile.
don't seem to do
unless,
much damage.
Yeah, unless you
Not worth
bother
our
them.
time.
Right. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab the 4 of you and move you into open space so you all fall to your deaths. No, I'm just kidding. Closer to the castle. Dun, 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 dun.
Hooray!
Making a mad dash past darting Willow the Wisps.
Yeah, you make your way along the treacherous walkway with the aid of Vayne's magic rope, which snakes out and wraps itself around rocks and withered vines, and just kind of aids you on your path. At this level, with your various dexterities, it's basically a negligibly difficult task to get across, so I'm just going to say you got to the castle. You're standing outside the massive double doors. You can sort of see inside. One of the doors, this one, has basically fallen off and is lying on the ground. And you can see this much space inside. There's rubble. The entire interior is burned out and washed out. The rain, which is falling very heavily, is just coating the inside of the building. There's no roof anymore, so all the rain is just coming right in, damaging any leftover tapestries or rugs or anything that was once there, making the place beautiful. You think it was once a grand place and is now a burned out ruin.
Well, this place certainly has changed, and not for the better.
Yep. Holly, your preternatural sense of all things unnatural in the area has largely faded, but undead and aberrations are still present.
I mean, we've walked past some of the undead. We haven't come across any aberrations yet, so I'm sure they're ahead of us.
Right. You can dimly make out a few interior stone walls, such as this one, which are still standing, albeit partly crumbled. There is a blackened table here that you can just see the edge of from where you're standing. And then rubble, cobwebs, more rubble, and what looks like a skeleton, like a collapsed humanoid skeleton, kind of contorted in a pained posture. What do you do?
He had a bad day.
Clearly. Or a good one. Depends on who you ask.
Shay, you
Guess we're going in.
Shay, you think that Illyra knows something about what happened in this place, but she hasn't told you exactly. Yeah,
Unsurprised.
she's been sharing less and less with you the last couple of 10 days.
Which has been incredibly frustrating.
Yep.
For her.
Communication is broken down. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and do you want to enter the castle, the forbidding, burned out castle?
Yes.
I mean, that's what we came here to do.
Do. Okay, there you go.
Do I ever?
Sweet.
And like
All right.
as we walk in, Shay, like that moment where Shay has that tick of realization, like you see her kind of pause, look around, and then like just heavy resigned sigh before she just walks right in.
Are we boring you, Shay?
No, not bored, just something I have to deal with personally. It's nothing to do with here. It's fine.
Is it going to be a problem?
No.
Hey, you can see that staircase leading to nothing right here. It just goes up to a platform that is collapsed into rubble. You see another table, chairs, more rubble, another skeleton, pieces of ceiling, boards, things like that. Shay's shadow is looking at Vayne. It doesn't have facial features, but it's obviously like gazing at her. And for most people who are native to this realm, that would probably be unsettling. But
Not at all. I've spent plenty of time with your kind.
exactly. So, like, you know, in a sense, Vayne might find the shadow more companionable than most people.
It's certainly less mopey than Shay is right now.
Okay.
Love you, Allie.
Right.
Tension amongst the party. Perfect.
More than anything,
What's
it's
a
just
game
that-
without it?
that someone being distracted can get people killed. Not a fun challenge way, in a dead for no reason
Yes.
way. So, any thoughts on which way we should be going here?
So
Well-
those two are distracted. Holly, make a perception check.
Gladly.
Okay. With the enhanced dark vision that Shay's power, when Shay cast that spell, she basically intoned a prayer to the unseen moon behind the rain clouds, and like divine radiance filled your eyes and expanded your dark vision. Shay worships Elistrai, the drow goddess of the moon, which Holly knew. Vayne only just realized because she used that power. You've heard of Elistrai. You know, you have a sufficient religious knowledge to at least have heard of that deity. I mean, you've heard of a lot of deities, though, so it's not like necessarily like this one is particularly great.
And again, unless she's going to be summoning down trouble of something other than the fun kind on us, your business is your own.
Holly, with your 10 perception check, however, you do see someone standing right here, just like pointing at you.
I'm sorry, where are they standing?
Right here.
Oh,
I'm looking.
Hi, who are you?
I'm not seeing it. Sorry.
Okay, let me do that again.
Sorry, I gotta zoom out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to move the thing for everybody, but
Oh, okay.
that might
Gotcha.
not be working. Okay.
So
Kind
Holly,
of in the southern part of the castle.
so
Yeah, it's just abruptly you see this person just pointing at you like this.
So yeah, she's going to go, yeah, hi, who are you? What are you doing here? And go a bit closer.
Okay,
Holly.
go ahead and move yourself. No response from the thing.
Holly, be careful.
I mean, if you guys have finished talking, there's someone here.
And I look.
Yeah, make a perception check. Okay.
23.
All right. Yeah, 23 and 22. Okay. So you the two shadow ladies look down at where Holly is directing your attention, and you see someone standing there, but that person is standing very still and absolutely not moving. And you're pretty sure that's a statue of a person, not an actual person.
What degree of detail is that statue rendered in?
Extreme detail,
Great.
like extremely lifelike detail.
Hmm.
Well, you
Like
know,
that.
on my adventure to the labyrinth, there were many things that could transform people to stone. We should be additionally aware, highly cautious. Do any of you have a mirror? Anything we could use to peer around corners, ensure that we're not looking directly? Yes, no?
And she'll
No.
she'll actually reach into her adventuring gear and pull one out, and she's like, I don't go anywhere with that one.
Wise. So certainly that should be something we are using to our advantage. I may have learned this the hard way.
So did I.
So as you're pulling out mirrors and discussing what to do, with your 23 and your 22 perceptions, Vayne and Shay notice something moving on the ground, something small, like wriggling on the ground. And when you focus on it, it was hard to see with your black and white dark vision, even though, you know, black and white is pretty standard for Vayne. But now that you focus on it, you see that they're like worm-like creatures, maybe small snakes that are just kind of like moving through the rubble.
Fantastic.
And you hear just dimly at the edge of your perception a rhythmic chanting sound in syllables of a language that is just bizarre to your ear. The sounds don't really fit or make sense. Yeah. I mean, it's even beyond the guttural and broken languages that you might hear from creatures of the Shadowfell. It's unnerving.
No, I was thinking of the home where I stayed for several thousand years ended the universe, or did I start it, or has that happened yet? I'm not sure.
It does remind you of the far realm. Yeah, that's true. It does. It seems like somebody might be trying to make sense of the far realm in language.
I told everyone to try and stop doing that. There's no point. It can't be done.
I'm going to need both of you to make a wisdom saving throw. Vayne has advantage on this saving throw.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
That's the with advantage. But I also do have advantage versus being charmed and magic can't let me just.
Yeah. That's not what this would do. But yes. Okay. You kind of shake off the unsettling, unmooring effect of this language, kind of shut it out a little bit. And then you hear the voices coalesce into a single voice that says, "Fellow celebrants, come to witness the end of all things, and the increase and advent of madness."
Well, that sounds exciting.
You see a figure coalesce behind one of the tables.
Oh.
Like the worms that you had seen kind of crawl up onto each other and form a humanoid figure, which pulls a ratty, dusty cloak from the table and wraps it around itself. And then the creature looks out at you and says, "Come to pay your obeisance to the end of all things."
Again?
Defiance in the face of inevitability.
Oh, no,
Yes.
there's no defiance here. I understand the inevitability. It just has already happened.
This has happened before and will happen again and will happen many times over and over until all is eaten by worms.
He's one of those. All right.
Was that supposed to sound creepy? Because I mean, that's what happens when you die. You get buried and decompose.
Yes, exactly. The worm creature has no real facial features, but it looks at Holly in what you imagine is something like enthusiasm, and it says, "Yes, such is the teaching of the occluded one. Such is the word of they who know all. The occluded one sees, the occluded one knows, the occluded one will come again."
I don't understand why you're making such a fuss about it. It's not like some divine revelation. That's just nature.
Yes, submit yourself and give of your flesh to the occluded one.
Shay will actually start laughing. She is actually laughing now. Do you listen to yourself? You sound ridiculous. How do you expect anyone to take you seriously when you're going on and on and on and on about it? Like, oh my God.
The worm thing looks at Shay. Typical PC defiance. And then it says,
Why are you here?
"The end will come to all places, but it begins here."
Why is it always in the place I decide to go? It always is
You
beginning
are
here.
a harbinger of doom, and your time is now, slayer of shadow and madness.
I should start charging more.
Didn't we already do this a couple of years ago?
Feel like we did.
Evil is repetitive.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh.
let's dance.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Party, let's dance.
let's go ahead and do some initiatives, shall we? Let me erase the current initiatives that people have, and we can put on fresh ones. Okay. Man, I tried to erase them and then Roll20 was like, did you mean to do that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I did. Please don't.
That's why you did it.
Yeah, please don't overwrite what I just did. Okay. I can remove the Willow Wisp, though. You left those far behind.
Apparently Roll20 just hates me today.
Roll20 hates everyone equally, so don't take it personally.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of friends, and I know some people watching are probably Roll20 people, and I'm sorry, but it is true. Roll20 hates everybody. Okay, let's see. So
You should see my Way of the Wicked game. I can't roll well to save my life in that one.
okay, perfect, and there we go. Okay. So, Vayne, you are gonna go first. So
All
this
right.
worm creature, like it's a mass of worms that have formed some sort of body, is standing behind this table, ranting about mad cult things, which, I mean, that's not entirely out of your experience. So.
Nope. Not one bit. All right. I am going to go ahead and cast haste on myself.
Okay.
So I gain an additional action on each of my turns.
Mhm.
And then I would like to use. I'm going to move up. Where is it? It's
The worm thing is over here.
sure. Let's go to. Let's see how far I need. How close I need to get in on this thing. Originating from me. So I need to get to this to about here. I'll go ahead and get myself here. I will cast Thunder Wave. And I will cast it at cast it 3rd level.
Okay.
Why not? So it needs to make a con 16 saving throw. Each creature within a 15-foot cube originating from me.
Okay. Yeah, it would just be at con save. Okay.
And failed save, it will take.
Oh, yep, it failed.
Okay. And it will take 32 thunder damage on a fail.
Nice.
And everything around me just goes blasts out. That is a very, very loud boom.
Yep.
Da boom.
You make a loud explosion of thunderous magic, and the table shatters in 1,000 pieces, as does this chair, and then the creature is struck by the blast, and it pushes him or knocks him prone.
It will be what did I put in the chat? Oh, I put haste in the chat, sorry. Thunder Wave. It is pushed 10 feet away from me.
Okay. So, okay, he can go here or here or here, like one of these spaces. You wanna push him up or down or just straight back.
Straight back is fine.
Okay. Yeah, so he kind of slithers along this wall. Your Thunderwave partly cracks.
Actually,
the
no, I'm
wall
sorry.
as
Can
well.
can I push him to open space?
Yep.
Instead,
That's fine. Okay.
and then I will activate my blade song.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
I should be writing down everything I have active on me.
All right. Shay's turn.
All right. I
Vayne is like very difficult to hit right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shay will Shay's in a mood. She'll make a quip as she acts. She'll say, "If you're going to impress Lady Illera, you're going to have to do better than that." And then she'll use her cutting action to shadow dance.
Okay.
And she'll reappear kind of in the shadow of this ruined staircase here, right in front of right in front of the guy.
Yep.
And she
Remember,
will.
only one F-bomb per game, so
I didn't
you
quite, but
kind
yeah,
of stopped yourself, kind of.
I tried.
All right, so we'll say that was half an F-bomb.
I will hit. I get advantage on the attack,
Yep.
which is nice. And I will hit him with my sword, with my rapier.
I'm so sorry. I should not have been able to cast on that last turn. I should have been
And
able to
then-
make a weapon attack.
Let's see, and then I'll.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll just roll
I have
it.
I have advantage, so I'll just give that another try. That's better.
Yeah, much better.
And
Good thing you had advantage.
That's 13 piercing plus the plus 2d6 for the.
So the radiant flame.
Yeah.
Yeah. here,
Remind
roll
me
that
if I
for
can
you.
have-
So you did 20 damage. It looks like.
And can I apply sneak attack here?
You are not. You're not an assassin, so you can't.
Well,
it
it says.
Yeah, well, it rolled it in case you had sneak attack, but I don't.
Well, I
don't
do
think
have
you
sneak attack.
You're right, because you have advantage, so it does. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
you did do all that damage. Okay. Cool. All right.
So she'll emerge from the shadows of the stairs, and her flaming weapon will just go right into it.
Cool. Okay. Yes. All right. It is the creature's turn. So. Great. All right. You would defy the coming of the end. You are fools. Okay, it swarms around you, not leaving your threatened area though. And then once it gets to here, it throws its cloak back and worms explode out from it in this kind of like hurricane of slavering mouths and tendrils. So I'm going to need Shay and Vayne both to make dexterity saving throws, please.
So I have advantage on this because of who's he?
Because of haste.
That's the one.
Yep.
Oh, yawn. Womp womp.
Okay. So Vayne got 11. Shay got 28. Okay. So I'm pretty sure if you made the save, which 28 obviously does, you were just not affected at all. So that's cool. Plus, I mean, I think she has evasion at this point.
He does, yes.
Yeah. All right. So Vayne, unfortunately, masses of swarming worms land on your chest and on your face and blind you. And you are blinded and restrained by these worms. You also take 22 necrotic damage, although that's not so bad for you because necrotic resistance.
I have resistance.
Okay. And okay. And you are basically held by this mass of worms that's all over you and kind of like sticking you to the ground. You can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of your turns, ending the effect on a success. So I'm also going to need you to make a save constitution check to keep the haste going because it's concentration.
Okay. And I have advantage on these right now, and I get bonuses to these right now.
Yeah, I think Vayne has Warcaster, so you.
I do have Warcaster.
Yeah, you always have advantage on these. Okay, yeah, you're good. No problem. Your DC was 11.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah, so no problem. Okay, Holly. So you saw the grossest thing ever happen to Vayne.
Yeah. Right after it just gave yet another one of those.
I want to clarify that.
Oh my god.
I want to clarify that that's not the grossest thing that Vayne has experienced, but it's
No,
the grossest
far
thing
from.
that Holly might have seen, probably.
It tickles a little bit.
So has it gone entirely into worms, or is there still figure?
Yeah, there's still a creature standing there. Yeah, and it can do an additional thing because it has legendary actions. Okay, so Vayne, I'm so sorry, but those worms start feeding on you.
I figured they would.
They do 20 necrotic damage to you, which is again not so bad because of your resistance.
Pain pickle.
But like thousands of mouths just start, digging into your flesh.
Sounds like a good weekend.
Yeah. And the creature itself becomes a little bit stronger. Okay. Now it's Holly's turn.
Okay. No worries. I'm going to use my bonus action to put Hunter's Mark on it. I'll put that into chat for you. I'm just going to do that. No, that's not what that's not what it's supposed to do.
I think you click the die. And you're gonna want to click the actual name of the power.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Which is nice that it'll roll the die for you to tell you how much extra damage you do with Hunter.
I just don't want it to do. Okay.
I think I have a general sense of what Hunter's Mark does. If you want to just.
I'm just going to copy paste it in because it's only giving me the option to cast the extra damage, not to actually put the spell description in. So
Gotcha.
There we go.
Yep. All right. Yep. You form a mystical mark with the creature as your quarry.
Yes.
Allows you to do extra damage to it, track it a lot better, and it cannot escape you no matter how hard it tries. Yeah.
Yes.
I know.
And
I will tell you my Hunter's Mark story one of these days.
I love Hunter's Mark. It's one of my favorite spells. And I will use both of my attack actions to shoot it. Let's see, how do I... this is good. That's one. And the second one...
Yeah, that 17 is going to hit. The 16 is not going to hit, though.
Okay, so one hits, and then the Hunter's Mark is...
Remind me what Colossus Slayer does. Is it creatures that are below their maximum hit points?
Yeah, but I didn't activate it on this one. It's just gone and rolled it for me anyway.
I thought it
Yes,
was just automatically. It always happens.
Hang on, I thought I had to.
Rangers. How do they work? Okay.
Oh, right.
Somebody please clip that.
No, it's Colossus Slayer is once per turn. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I
If it's
think
once
you
per
can
turn, you can
choose.
use it.
Hang on, what's
Yeah,
my turn?
you can choose. Yeah,
choose
it is your
Yeah.
turn. You
It is
can
my
choose
turn.
to use it here.
Yes, I
Okay.
am using it. And hang
So
on.
you did
and now I'm-
14, and I could just take the roll that you already did for Hunter's Mark, if that's cool.
Oh, yeah, sure. No worries.
Okay. All right.
So that's 14, 16. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yep. So your arrows sink into it. They do some damage to it, but you basically blow several worms out of it, but the thing is still moving increasingly erratically.
Yeah.
Okay. Just when it starts to seem like you maybe have a handle on everything that's happening. Oh, you didn't think it was gonna be that easy, did you? So this, Holly, you loose your second arrow, and you're reaching for a third arrow when something drips onto you, like onto your arm, and starts sizzling your bracer. And you look up and you see this horrendous mass of flesh and tendrils and skittering legs and mouths creeping down one of the walls toward you.
Oh, wonderful. That's
Absolutely
just what I
wonderful.
wanted. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. David Cronenberg would be pleased. Anyway, and what it is going to do is it's going to use its multi-attack here. So, first of all, targets one creature can see within 30 feet. Holly, make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Wonderful. It's
That's probably for the best. Okay, so your mind shudders but does not snap under the pressure of seeing this utterly horrific thing. But it is going to attack you. So
of course it is.
it attempts to bite you. 21, does that hit you?
Uh-huh. I'm just double checking something.
Are you double checking whether your AC is 21 or 22?
I'm checking what the trigger response for a shield is.
You just have to be hit,
It's
Yeah.
just you're hit by an attack.
Yeah.
and if it
okay.
hits, it'll pop your AC up by 5.
Okay, so 21 does hit, and then I'll use my reaction to pop shield.
Okay, and the +5 makes your AC what?
It makes it 23.
Okay, all right. So it tries to bite you, and it bites a bunch of shield instead. And then its smaller mouths reach down to try and bite you as well. They're also going to be biting the shield. So, it did not hit you. All of its mouths against your force shield. It's forcing you back, like you're cringing back from this onslaught, but your magic is holding.
Cool.
Ranger sorcerer. Okay, so then we're gonna go to Vayne.
Excellent.
Vayne.
Vayne, who is currently
first-
blinded and restrained.
Right. The first thing that happens is you take a certain amount of damage at the start of its turn, not your turn. Okay. So go ahead. Blinded and
I-
restrained.
I will cast Sword Burst, and I do have still haste on and all of this. So Sword Burst, I don't have to see what's going on,
Right.
because it's their save. So these spectral blades burst out of my skin suddenly, and just everything that's nearby within creatures within 5 feet of me need to make a dex. It's a DC 16 dex save.
Okay. It looks like there aren't any creatures within 5 feet.
Well,
of
there's
you.
there's a bunch that are on my skin.
Yeah, that's true.
So that was my hope, is that these are going to burst out of my skin. And
All right. Here's what I'm going to do.
whatever's-
What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to attempt the saving throw to end the effect right now.
Oh, sweet. What? It's a dex save.
Dex save.
Okay, so I would have had it with advantage, but because they are restraining me, I do not have advantage anymore.
Right.
Correct?
Advantage, disadvantage, cancel out. So
Oh no, that's bad. That's fail.
Okay. So they burst out and disturb the worms, but the worms just like right back on you.
Okay, well I still have.
I
an
really did
additional-
not mean to do this. I just want that to be clear to everybody. I was just
All good.
my body. I'm just demonstrating worms on your body. All right. Okay. Sorry.
I still have a full action because of haste, so I can either do a weapon attack or a regular. I can magic missile. This feels like a prime time for it.
Fair enough.
Because I don't think the Misty Step wouldn't get them off of me, right? Or would it?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay.
Well, not entirely sure.
Okay. Well, I guess I could do a leveled spell and then another.
So you wouldn't be able to both magic missile and misty step.
Well, right. Well, I have haste on though,
Right. That's
So-
true.
and I'm allowed my regular attack can be one cantrip and a weapon attack.
Right.
That's a standard action for me.
Right.
So then, if
So
I'm
you-
adding an additional action, I should
Yeah.
be able to cast a leveled spell.
But casting a bonus action leveled spell basically makes you unable to cast a
Right, the leveled spell for the other thing.
A leveled
No, it's another
spell.
Action. Yeah. Never mind.
unless you have an action surge or
Right,
something.
right. No, I was gonna do Misty Step as either a weapon attack or recast Thunder Wave and see if it or Sword Burst and see if it did
Right.
the thing and I could try and save again. But I don't know where I'm going, and I don't see this thing that appeared.
Right. Well, you could probably hear Holly making some sounds of disgust.
I mean, it could be
Ew.
that she's getting to do the same thing I am, and it could be delight.
Ew, 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 ew.
Again, it sounds like a normal weekend. The weekend escapades of Vayne.
Holly's just super disgusted, and you're like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. I guess I'll Misty Step.
Do you want a misty step toward where the creature was, or do you want a misty step toward where Holly is?
I mean, I was actually thinking something like away from everything, but
Away from everything is a valid choice too.
because I can run back in if I can suddenly have some freedom. So yeah, let's go ahead and Misty
Okay,
Step.
so you're gonna misty step, and misty step is up to 30 feet. How far did you want to misty step?
Let's go 20 to here.
Okay. Yep. All right. You reappear. The worms are still on you.
Great. May I try again with the sword burst and see if that?
Yes.
Okay. So I will cast that again. And so the blades come out of my skin.
Yep.
So I'm doing a dex save
Yep.
instead of an attack.
Mm-hmm. No, that's not quite going to do it. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Oh, I should be getting a +1 on saves.
Is
Because
that not coming
of
through?
my cloak. No, it's not.
Oh.
Wait. Oh, no, it is. Hang on. Is it? It is. Never mind.
Okay.
Okay, so then I guess now I get my actual save that's not my
Yep.
spell.
At the end of your turn. Mhm.
No, this is terrible. Why?
Oh no. All right. Okay. So Vayne's having some trouble. It is Shay's turn.
Because I'm just having too much fun.
Oh yeah.
That's the problem. It's just too much fun.
Shay, I realize that we did not have any space for your shadow to go.
Yeah.
Now your shadow is supposed to have its own initiative. I'm
It
going to
is.
put it at initiative 12, and I'm going to
Sure.
say it is your shadow's turn, and then it is your turn.
I was actually going to have my shadow go, so that works out perfectly. It will swoop in and attack the crazy monster thing.
Okay. Awesome.
Let's see here.
You got stats for the shadow?
It says it uses the monster manual stats, but it gets a bonus from equal to my proficiency bonus on attacks.
Yeah.
So let's see here. I guess it'll just be d20 plus 8.
So the Shadow Dancer is a homebrewed rogue archetype that I created. There are lots of versions of the Shadow Dancer
Yeah.
out there. I'm sure you find, 20 or 30 different versions, but this is the one that I created.
Okay, so it only got a 12 on its attack against the aberration.
I don't think that's gonna hit.
Which one?
The big
huge,
one.
huge
So-
mound of protoplasmic flesh. That one.
Vayne
The
probably
Eldritch
wouldn't see
Horror.
this.
Yeah, the Eldritch Horror.
Yeah, Vayne
Okay.
probably wouldn't see
I
this,
reiterate. Which one?
Okay. And then it is Shay's turn proper.
Vayne probably wouldn't have seen this since her current situation, but
There are worms
Holly-
in my eyes. Ah.
Holly would see the shadow sweep in, and instead of like a weapon, its arm rears back and it becomes kind of like this spidery blade limb that sweeps out at the thing. Misses, but it looks cool.
And looking cool is the main thing.
Exactly. All right, Shay.
Was that an insult? Says the
Maybe.
person who is not looking anywhere.
Anyway,
Other
you're
than-
cool.
No. He's
Um,
neither looking nor cool at the moment.
Would I be able to pop through the shadows to the other side of this thing? Just kind of pop behind him or pop in front of him or whatever?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just gonna do that because it uses my cunning action, but it gives me advantage.
Right.
So I'll basically flit through the shadows so that I'm on the opposite side, and then I will make another attack with my sword.
Mhm.
Okay, so the first roll then.
It's
And then with the full sneak attack. Oh wow,
oh geez.
that's 46.
46 damage. Okay. This is what happens when the guy goes toe to toe with the striker of the party. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you stab him real good with that flaming sword.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
radiant damage out the wazoo.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it for now.
Okay. All right. His turn. So. Oh, geez. Okay. All right. what he is going to do is he is going to okay. He's going to cast a spell. And what I'm going to need is Shay to make a wisdom saving throw. With your Fey ancestry, you have advantage on this save.
Okay. Ooh. That's not great.
No, not especially. Because you are
I can't
dominated
see
by
that.
him.
It's casting a spell, so
Yep, that's true. Okay. And the creature says, "Foolish, fleshly being, your flesh will feed the end of all things." And you feel it worm its way into your mind and seize control of your body. You, Shay, are still aware. You can still sense what's happening, but you are dominated. So you're charmed by him, and he can give you telepathic commands. Oh, good. Okay.
What is with me being turned on the party all the time?
Yeah.
It's your brand.
You're not even an NPC this time. Okay. So, all right. So currently you're just charmed by him, which means you can't attack him or target him with harmful abilities or magical effects. You have the charmer has advantage on ability checks to interact socially with you. He has not yet issued any specific commands to you. Okay, Holly. So there's this massive horrific thing next to you.
And there's this thing up here that we've been attacking.
Oh yeah, Shay clearly
Yes.
has that though. No problem.
Yeah, but it's also the one that's got my hunter's mark on it, and I can't transfer it until he dies.
That is true.
So,
Please kill it.
so the best thing for me is to kill it as fast as possible, so I can transfer the hunter's mark to this other thing.
Fair enough.
So, let's attack it. It's, so that's not bad. And I think
You have disadvantage while you are adjacent to a melee creature with a ranged attack, unless you have crossbow expert, which is insane, but it is the thing.
okay, so
But I will take that double roll as your roll with disadvantage, and the 18 will still hit
okay, so let's
the worm man.
roll it again.
I'm just gonna
Wormman.
go with worm man.
Worm man.
Worm man.
Chat.
Oh, yep, that's
It's a
gonna hit
second-
too.
worm and his way into your heart or your brain or your
Okay,
Me.
and then there is, hang on, I have so much stuff I'm trying to do on this turn, it's kind of, where
So
did I
it
put?
looks like Colossus Slayer is going to activate, and it's going to do 3 damage regardless of which attack you activated it on. So
Yep, so that was,
I count 16, 3 is 19 plus 2d6 for your 2 Hunter's Mark hits.
yep,
Right.
so let me just get, okay, so, And I'm also going to activate one of the arcane shots.
Oh, geez.
Yes, because I'm an arcane archer as well.
Right. Yeah. I got it.
Yep. And
So let's see. So far, 29 damage.
okay, then I'm going to use grasping arrow on one of those. So that's has that come through? So that's
There it is.
That's poison damage, and if it moves more than 1 foot, it's going to take another 2d6 slashing damage.
Not actually immune to poison damage. Okay.
Hmm.
Cool. So that's a total of 34 damage by my count. Oof. All right. That's a lot of damage to him. Yeah, his bodily consistency is starting to fall apart. He's not down, but he's looking bad. Okay, is that it?
I don't think I have. Yeah, none of my bonus actions really apply right now. Yep.
So this horrendous Eldritch Horror is going to continue to attack Holly. Oh, let's see. He has to make a con save, 2 con saves to resist losing his dominate spell. Let's see if he pulls that off. Oh my god, he got an 8.
What?
Yeah, seriously, I rolled a 2. It's real sad. Okay, yeah, it's dominate spell. Fizzles.
Oh well, all right.
But his Eldritch Horror is going to have vengeance. So, it really should just like fall on top of Holly, but it doesn't really have a mechanic for that. So it's just going to attack. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so it's bite, AC 17.
No.
Okay, claws, AC 22.
I'm going to use my reaction to pop shield again.
Okay.
Which will put my AC to 23.
Claws, but like it's really lesser mouths. And then the second lesser mouth, 23. So that one still penetrates through the shield.
It
Okay.
can only cast 1 greater mouth per turn.
1 greater mouth, 2 lesser
2
mouth.
lesser mouths.
All right, 19 slashing damage to Holly.
Okay. So,
It would have been much worse if the maddening presence had actually worked on you. But it is going to use its maddening presence on Shay instead. Shay, you get to make a wisdom saving throw, please. Oh, bad news. Shay, you are paralyzed with madness until the end of its next turn.
Of course I am.
As in its next turn, as in your next turn. Yeah, your next turn. Okay. Great. Oh, Vayne, I forgot to have the things feed on you on the larva mage's turn, so they're gonna do that now.
Oh no, please don't.
I mean, it could be worse. Like,
Oh, it could be way worse. And Vayne is just sitting there just like,
okay, you take 23 necrotic damage. Like, he could have hit somebody who wasn't resistant to necrotic
I'm getting
damage.
close to half.
So Holly,
Oh, no.
Like Holly.
Holly's the only one here who isn't resistant to necrotic damage.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah, I am not.
Okay. And then it is your turn.
All right, let's go ahead and give that same tactic another shot because not a ton of other options.
Fair enough.
So I try and. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. That is a
Blades
success.
come out of my skin. Fantastic. Okay.
All right, you finally
So-
disperse the worms. You tear them out of your eye sockets. Blah.
Yeah.
And you are free from being blinded and restrained.
Thank goodness. Okay.
Dripping
Let's
with
get
blood.
rid of those conditions.
You're in a lot of pain.
Thank you very much. Oh no, not that. Whatever shall I do? How's it looking?
Okay, so Shay is there, fighting with the worm guy, and then the huge aberrant pile of flesh and mouths is seemingly uninjured.
But how's the worm guy looking?
He looks like his body is mostly broken apart. He's still fighting, but like
That's great. Okay.
his
I am
arm is
going
like, you know, kind of flopping over as the worms try and hold it together.
So I will move behind it. I will. Let me just get one thing. Sure, I'll use a green flame blade along with my sword. Yeah, I'll do that. So my my lovely +2. And you know what? Let's go ahead and use the Vorpal sword instead.
Vicious sword.
Sorry, the vicious sword. That's what I
It
meant.
would be pretty cool if I had given you a more.
A Vorpal blade would be sick, but I'm good with the vicious. That works. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that here with the.
Vayne
So
has
that's-
multiple swords, which are more katana than just a longsword. Yeah, 12 is not going to do it. Alas.
Do I have any bonuses from Shay being right there?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. Swing and a miss.
Not my fight.
Did you want to attack again because of extra attack?
Well,
or haste,
so I've used the cantrip, and then I used the cantrip plus the attack. As my attack is the two attacks. So I've used the one extra action already.
Okay, so the green flame blade you cast, that was this attack, right?
Yes.
So
So that's
then you would
casting the
have
cantrip.
another-
Oh, so I get one extra swing with it, huh?
Right.
Okay, sorry.
No problem. Some of those attacks are worded in kind of a confusing way, so no worries.
And will the green flame? It doesn't last the whole. This attack, right?
I'm just looking that up right now, actually. I'm trying to look that up on D&D Beyond, and it's getting confused. Okay, here we go. All right. Yeah, I think it's just that one attack. It's not subsequent
I think
attacks.
so too. And then on the vicious
19 is definitely going to hit though.
great. I love it when it hits. And I can use this versatile, so as a duelist as long as I'm not no, I have to use it as a sorry, character I don't play often.
Fine. Yep.
And then
So 11 damage, it looks like.
11 damage, and then nothing I have on adds to anything else. So
Nothing special. Just
that should be it.
okay. All right. And is your haste still going?
My haste is still going. It goes for 1 minute.
Okay.
believe.
And did you do your extra action from haste?
Yes, that was what the very first casting the first to get the sword burst.
Oh,
to
right.
break
Okay.
the
I
thing.
get you.
So it was
I get you.
the
now.
the
Okay.
extra action was the sword burst, and then it was green flame blade plus the extra attack,
Right.
and
okay.
that should be
Understood. Okay.
all
Shadow's
the
turn.
things.
All right, the shadow. Well, it's gonna take another swipe at the big beastie. So let's another big, like, weird spidery blade arm strike. Ooh, 23.
Yeah, that is actually gonna hit.
So its attack is actually strength drain.
Yeah, I really need to fix that.
Fair. How would you want to play it then?
So we're gonna have it do. How much strength drain does it do? Remind me.
It removes. It says strength score is reduced by 1d4.
All right, so we're gonna say it's 2d8 necrotic damage.
Okay. And then it gets the bonus from the proficiency score. All right, rolling that. So 15 total.
Okay.
As the shadowy blade arm sweeps through its pulsing, nasty flesh.
Yep. Okay. Shay's turn. Shay proper.
Well, you said I was paralyzed with madness.
That is true. So yeah, you can't really do anything. You're incapacitated, can't move or speak. Automatically fail strength dex saving throws. Attack rolls have advantage. Attack that hits you is a critical hit if it is within 5 feet of the creature. Fortunately for you, the paralysis wears off just before Worm Boy gets to hit you. So
Does it? It's gonna. I get to take a sentinel attack if that's the
yeah,
case.
it's not going to though necessarily. It's I'm saying that it ends just before Worm Boy's turn, but Worm Boy is going to get to do a legendary action. Yeah. So in this case, it is going to attempt to lash out at Shay while Shay is still paralyzed, because it could have done that on the previous end of a turn. So but yeah, the sentinel attack does go off, so you want to do that
so
first.
I will go ahead and use my longsword and make my attack on it.
Great.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, that definitely
Ooh.
hits.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my opportunity attack.
Doesn't kill it, does really damage it though. Okay, and it is going to slam Shay there. 15 AC. Does that hit, Shay?
A 15?
Yeah.
15 does not hit Shay.
Yeah, that's what I expected.
Did it have to move more than 1 foot to do that?
No.
Okay.
It's basically trapped between your allies.
And it can't move right now, even if it wanted to, because of Sentinel.
Right.
Ah.
Its speed is at 0 for the rest of the turn.
It's stuck there.
Mhm.
So, okay. So, let's see if it's worm burst thing recharges. Oh joy, it does. Okay, so
Wonderful.
it is going to worm burst, requiring Vayne and Shay to make dexterity saves. Oof, 18.
Oof, 18. Okay. That doesn't bode well.
Oh.
Hello.
Those were both 7s.
Yeah. Yeah, you're both struck
Worms.
by worms. Oh man, it was going so well. All right, you're both blinded and restrained. Oh man, you had almost killed it too. Shit. Okay, all right, and you take a certain amount of damage, although you're both resistant to necrotic damage.
Mhm.
So it's not going to be too bad. 23 necrotic damage.
23?
Yeah.
Is that before or after the resistance?
That's before.
Okay.
Okay. The reducing speed thing lasted until the end of that turn, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So it is not currently active right now because this is the next turn.
Correct.
And
But if it tries
is-
to leave, I still have Sentinel up, so I still will get an opportunity attack.
even if
Even
you're
at
blinded.
disadvantage. Even at well, blinded just would be a disadvantage. Right? Wouldn't it?
It depends on how Sentinel is worded. If it says a creature you can see, then it wouldn't work.
Let's look.
Well, it is going to try and escape.
Nope. When a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you.
Or moves.
Or moves, yeah.
Okay, it is going to
Creatures
try
provoke
to...
opportunity attacks from you, even if they take the disengage action before leaving your
All right,
reach.
it is going to try and escape, so go ahead and make your attack.
Okay, so make this at disadvantage. Oof, nope. Oof.
Okay.
It also takes 2d6 for moving.
Oh my god. Okay. You want to go ahead and roll
Yep.
that?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or the
That's-
nightmare.
Did that
Depends
say
on
it
your
rolled
preference.
1d6 or because it was supposed to be 2d6?
Yeah, it just rolled 1d6.
It's only been
Okay.
rolling 1d6 this whole time.
Oh, because it should have done 2d6. Did the
Okay,
poison
well,
damage
roll it
only
again.
do 1d6?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
Ah.
It just said d6.
Should I do that extra poison
Yeah.
damage that it missed out? Okay,
Yeah.
so here's 1 and 2.
Okay. Great.
Great.
Ranger, awesome. Okay. So
And is there a reason that 1 comes up as a red? Is that a reroll?
it
for
just
you?
means
It
that
was
you
one.
rolled the lowest
that
that you
it's a
could have
1.
rolled.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the creature is going to move away. And it's basically kind of fleeing away. And it says, "You will not. You will never stop the coming end." And there's Holly, you can see dimly out of the corner of your eye, there's this burst of light from this direction.
Okay.
And then the worm creature makes some kind of inhuman gasping, choking noise. Okay, Holly. So this huge thing of mostly mouths and polyps and intestines is looming over you. And of a
There it
sudden,
is.
it goes, and it starts wilting and drooping toward the ground.
Ew.
And then it just kind of collapses in this pile of pus.
Ugh.
Ew.
Oh, yeah.
Always attractive.
Which, well, splashes all over you. So your clothes are just utterly ruined.
Again.
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 And you look back over your shoulder and you see that there's a figure emerging from behind you.
When the wormy thing disappeared, did the ones that were on us disappear?
Yeah, the worms on you start like drooping, and then they kind of crumble to dust and fall off of you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
God.
Yeah, real gross. Okay, and then you too can see this this female figure that is emerging out of the depths of the castle. And so this woman is dressed in kind of mismatched clothes that don't seem to fit each other. Like there's a cloak here and like a frock and a cape that's wound around her waist like it's supposed to be a skirt or something like that. And she has long tousled brown hair, and she is wielding a rod that looks like a long length of bone. And Shay immediately recognizes her as Cecilia. And she says, "Ha! Finally, there you are. We need your help. Come on."
Okay. What?
The ground starts shaking. And Cecilia says, "We don't have a lot of time. Come on.
I will quickly cast message to Shay saying, I don't know this person.
Shay will give Vayne a look then, and just that nod, that this person's okay nod.
And Vayne immediately goes to the prophecy that she was given. And the magic starts to crackle in her hands, down her blade.
Okay. Cecilia looks over at you and she says, "What are you waiting for, Shay? Can you not feel it?" And you see that green glow that you saw at the horizon is starting to brighten and grow and come closer. The world is
Shay?
shaking all around you.
We should go.
Go where?
Well, through my portal, obviously. Cecilia gestures back to this golden glowing portal.
We're looking for Myrin. What about Myrin?
Oh, you mean that? She points to the statue, which now that you're not in immediate combat, you realize is a statue of Myrin, looking very like in the middle of casting a spell. And Cecilia says, "There's no saving her, not any longer. We need to go."
Shay will go. She'll run for the portal.
Fantastic.
I wouldn't.
What?
So is Vayne physically going to stop her?
I would stick my arm out. I'd mom arm.
It's Cecilia. We can trust her.
And Vayne is 6 feet tall, so Vayne mom arming is gonna stop most people in their
Vayne
tracks.
is pretty statuesque.
Yeah, but this is Myrin.
Cecilia sighs. She points her rod at the statue, and an eldritch blast emerges from the rod and shatters Myrin's statue.
Cecilia!
She says,
This
look, we don't have time for this. But if you insist, we can do this the hard way. And she reaches down, and then she raises up this golden mask and puts it over her face. And she says, look, you have 2 choices. You come with me now, and you might see her again, or you stay and cease to exist. Your choice. And then this fan of golden wings spreads out behind her.
And I'll now speak the poem aloud.
Yes.
Who are you?
I am she who was promised the end of all things.
The end is the beginning.
Exactly.
It already was. You're a bit late.
Better late than never, one supposes.
But wait, Illyra, what about?
Do you love her or not?
Of course I do.
Then you will come with me. Because I know your weakness, Shay Darksong, and it is hope.
Oh, that makes no sense.
She points to the golden portal. And then she just walks through it, leaving it open behind her.
I don't think we have a choice.
Well, you see the world, the mountains around you starting to unravel.
I really don't think we have a choice.
Well, I suppose if we go through, there's a chance we can stop her.
Or you'll be trapped for eternity and who knows where. But you know what? Who knows where might be fun.
Better than here.
Oh,
Then if we're going, then we better go.
Oh, this is the bad news thing, though.
If we go, we might be able to stop her. If we stay here, I don't think we're going to live.
And that's all the choice we need. And Shay will go through the portal.
And Holly will go with her.
Okay.
I can't leave my ship. I can't do it.
Well, your ship has theoretically already been destroyed by the coming apocalypse.
If they took my ship, they're going to regret it.
Then
Hey,
make them
everybody.
regret it.
Are we just like sitting around chatting? What's going on?
We're wrapping up our previous game. We're
Oh,
almost
sorry.
done.
Okay.
No
Sorry.
worries.
I'll mute myself.
Okay. Yep. So people head into the portal and the world
Guess so.
unravels and ceases to be. The cataclysm has come about. Certain survivors have made choices. And we are done with our adventure. Well
Oh
done,
my
everyone.
goodness,
Thank
that's
you so much.
awesome.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. People are starting to show up for the next game. They're going to do their setup. I'm guessing Randy is going to be part of that as well. I don't know. He's looking a little bit tired. Thanks for hanging in there, Randy. And thank you so much for everyone for playing. Thank you to Allie Pitchford and Alicia Cameron and Jen Kretchmer. I'm so glad to get to play with all of you. And this obviously
fun.
ties into what's going on in the Westgate Irregulars game, which is going to be giant-sized at 6 p.m. Saturday, which means 6 p.m. today. Yeah, that's right. 13 hours from now. Well, 12 and a half hours from now. God, I need to go get some sleep. Okay.
Go and sleep. Go and sleep.
I have been Eric Scott DeVee, the DM of this campaign. Thank you so much for coming with us on this journey. Please stay with us for Extra Life for 24 whole goddamn hours that we're playing and raising money for children who desperately need medical care. It's a dark, scary time. Kids need help. We're here doing games to make that happen. On that note, I'm going to throw it to Jen to talk about herself, and we're just going to go around. So take it away, Jen.
Sure. I am Jen Kretchmer. I'm a writer, performer, producer, streamer, consultant. I do all the things. You can find me on Twitter as @DreamWisp. It's the best place to keep up with what I am up to, where I'm going to be showing up. On Tuesdays, I will always be on Heroes of the Plains from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific, where I play Alindra, who is my character who is in Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms as well, which just code in chat. And I stream on Twitch as DreamWisp Jen, so come hang out and we'll talk about games and do stuff. And, just another apocalypse. That's fine. Aaron and I are going to have a talk about this.
All right, keep it rolling, keep it quick. I'm Allie. I'm Shay Darksong down in the chat. I'm a moderator here, and sometimes I play, as you can see. You can find me on Twitter @LexiPhoenix, and yeah, that's good for me.
I'm Alicia. I am Myrin in the chat and everywhere else. I was playing Holly, and well, we'll see what happens now. Okay, thanks for watching, and thanks Eric for running it. Bye.
So much. Stay scrawly, and we'll be
Bye.
right with you for the next game. Don't go away.